training process, Demi Allah requires the cadets to stay in dormitory. The cadets' dormitory is designed comfortably so that they can focus during the education. This campus concerns on combining modern training facilities and highly competent instructors, which will bring out to the best railroad personnel, ready to work and able to provide community-expected services. In accordance with the 2030 National Railways Master Plan to develop railways in Indonesia, it is needed thousands of human resources in railway transportation. Therefore, Indonesian Railways Polytechnic is very important to fulfill those needs. The PPI Madiun campus builds on an area of more than 18 hectares. Training activities are fully supported by modern facilities, latest technology infrastructure, and conducive training education environment. To broaden insights and knowledge of the academicians, this campus provides a library containing more than 2,700 books. Simulators are available completely and well maintained with the latest railroad technology. Those are Outdoor Catenary System Laboratory, CDC Laboratory, Synthetic Display Laboratory, Level Crossing Laboratory, and Simulation Station. By these all facilities, it is expected that all PPI Madiun graduates will have better understanding about working in railroad field. This area also has complete and adequate supporting learning facilities such as workshop, P3M room, clinic, mosque, and yard. Sports activities are very important for cadets to have firm physical appearance. PPI Madiun has a 3,000-meter sports hall with complete facilities. Despite indoor sports hall, this campus provides outdoor sports facilities such as volleyball, futsal, and basketball courts. During the training process, PPI Madiun requires the cadets to stay in dormitory. The cadets' dormitory is designed comfortably so that they can focus during the education. This campus concerns on combining modern training facilities and highly competent instructors, which will bring out to the best railroad personnel, ready to work and able to provide community-expected services. In accordance with the 2030 National Railways Master Plan to develop railways in Indonesia, it is needed thousands of human resources in railway transportation. Therefore, Indonesian Railways Polytechnic is very important to fulfill those needs. The PPI In accordance with the 2030 National Railways Master Plan to In accordance with the 2030 National Railways Master Plan to develop railways in Indonesia, it is needed thousands of human resources in railway transportation. Therefore, Indonesian Railways Polytechnic is very important to fulfill those needs. Madiun campus builds on an area of more than 18 hectares. Training activities are fully supported by modern facilities, latest technology infrastructure, and conducive training education environment. To broaden insights and knowledge of the academicians, this campus provides a library containing more than 2,700 books. Modern laboratories and simulators are available completely and well maintained with the latest railroad technology. Those are outdoor catenary system laboratory, CDC laboratory, synthetic display laboratory, level crossing laboratory, and simulation station. By these all facilities, it is expected that all PP Madiun graduates will have better understanding about working in railroad field. This area also has complete and adequate supporting learning facilities, such as workshop, P3M room, clinic, mosque, and yard. Sports activities are very important for cadets to have firm physical appearance. PPI Madiun has a 3,000-meter sports hall with complete facilities. Despite indoor sports hall, this campus provides outdoor sports facilities, such as volleyball, futsal, and basketball courts. During the training process, PPI Madiun requires the cadets to stay in dormitory. The cadets' dormitory is designed comfortably so that they can focus during the education. This campus concerns on combining modern training facilities and highly competent instructors, which will bring out to the best railroad personnel, ready to work and able to provide community-expected services.
Tes. Cek.
In accordance with the 2030 National Railways Master Plan to develop railways in Indonesia, it is needed thousands of human resources in railway transportation. Therefore, Indonesian Railways Polytechnic is very important to fulfill those needs. The PPI Madiun campus builds on an area of more than 18 hectares. Training activities are fully supported by modern facilities, latest technology infrastructure, and conducive training education environment. To broaden insights and knowledge of the academicians, this campus provides a library containing more than 2,700 books. Modern laboratories and simulators are available completely and well maintained with the latest railroad technology. Those are outdoor catenary system laboratory, CDC laboratory, synthetic display laboratory, level crossing laboratory, and simulation station. By these all facilities, it is expected that all PPI Madiun graduates will have better understanding about working in railroad field. This area also has complete and adequate supporting learning facilities, such as workshop, P3M room, clinic, mosque, and yard. Sports activities are very important important for cadets to have firm physical appearance. PP Imagine has a 3,000-meter sports hall with complete facilities. Despite indoor sports hall, this campus provides outdoor sports facilities such as volleyball, futsal, and basketball courts. During the training process, PP Imagine requires the cadets to stay in dormitory. The cadets' dormitory is designed comfortably so that they can focus during the education. This campus concerns on combining modern training facilities and highly competent instructors, which will bring out to the best railroad personnel, ready to work and able to provide community-expected services. In accordance with the 2030 National Railways Master Plan to develop railways in Indonesia, it is needed thousands of human resources in railway transportation. Therefore, Indonesian Railways Polytechnic is very important to fulfill those needs. The PP Imadiun campus builds on an area of more than 18 hectares. Training activities are fully supported by modern facilities, latest technology infrastructure, and conducive training education environments. To broaden insights and knowledge of the academicians, this campus provides a library containing more than 2,700 books. Simulators are available completely and well maintained with the latest railroad technology. Those are Outdoor Catenary System Laboratory, CDC Laboratory, Synthetic Display Laboratory, Level Crossing Laboratory, and Simulation Station. By these all facilities, it is expected that all PP Imagine graduates will have better understanding about working in railroad field. This area also has complete and adequate supporting learning facilities such as workshop, P3M room, clinic, mosque, and yard. Sports activities are very important for cadets to have firm physical appearance. PP Imagine has a 3,000-meter sports hall with complete facilities. Despite indoor sports hall, this campus provides outdoor sports facilities such as volleyball, futsal, and basketball courts. During the training process, PP Imagine requires the cadets to stay in dormitory. The cadets' dormitory is designed comfortably so that they can focus during the education. This campus concerns on combining modern training facilities and highly competent instructors, which will bring out to the best railroad personnel, ready to work and able to provide community-expected services. In accordance with the 2030 National Railways Master Plan to develop railways in Indonesia, it is needed thousands of human resources in railway transportation. Therefore, Indonesian Railways Polytechnic is very important to fulfill those needs. The PP Imadiun campus builds on an area of more than 18 hectares. Training activities are fully supported by modern facilities, latest latest technology infrastructure, and conducive training education environment. To broaden insights and knowledge of the academicians, this campus provides a library containing more than 2,700 books. Modern laboratories and simulators are available completely and well maintained with the latest railroad technology. Those are outdoor catenary system laboratory, CDC laboratory, synthetic display laboratory, level crossing laboratory, and simulation station. By these all facilities, it is expected that all PP Imagine graduates will have better understanding about working in railroad field. This area also has complete and adequate supporting learning facilities such as workshop, P3M room, clinic, mosque, and yard. Sports activities are very important for cadets to have firm physical appearance. PP Imagine has a 3,000-meter sports hall with complete facilities. Despite indoor sports hall, this campus provides outdoor sports facilities such as volleyball, futsal, and basketball courts. During the training process, PP Imagine requires the cadets to stay in dormitory. The cadets' dormitory is designed comfortably so that they can focus during the education. This campus concerns on combining modern training facilities and highly competent instructors, which will bring out to the best railroad personnel, ready to work and able to provide community-expected services. In accordance with the 2030 National Railways Master Plan to develop railways in Indonesia, it is needed thousands of human resources in railway transportation. Therefore, Indonesian Railways Polytechnic is very important to fulfill those needs. The PP Imadiun campus builds on an area of more than 18 hectares. Training activities are fully supported by modern facilities, latest technology infrastructure, and conducive training education environment. To broaden insights and knowledge of the academicians, this campus provides a library containing more than 2,700 books. Modern laboratories and simulators are available completely and well maintained with the latest railroad technology. Those are outdoor catenary system laboratory, CDC laboratory, synthetic display laboratory, level crossing laboratory, and simulation station. By these all facilities, it is expected that all PP Imagine graduates will have better understanding about working in railroad field. This area also has complete and adequate supporting learning facilities such as workshop, P3M room, clinic, mosque, and yard. Sports activities are very important for cadets to have firm physical appearance. PP Imagine has a 3,000-meter sports hall with complete facilities. Despite indoor sports hall, this campus provides outdoor sports facilities such as volleyball, futsal, and basketball courts. During the training process, PP Imagine requires the cadets to stay in dormitory. The cadets' dormitory is designed comfortably so that they can focus during the education. ready to work, and able to provide community-expected services. In accordance with the 2030 National Railways Master Plan to develop railways in Indonesia, it is needed thousands of human resources in railway transportation. Therefore, Indonesian Railways Polytechnic is very important to fulfill those needs. The PPI Madiun campus builds on an area of more than 18 hectares. Training activities are fully supported by modern facilities, latest technology infrastructure, and conducive training education environment. To broaden insights and knowledge of the academicians, this campus provides a library containing more than 2,700 books. Modern laboratories and simulators are available completely and well maintained with the latest railroad technology. Those are outdoor catenary system laboratory, CDC laboratory, synthetic display laboratory, level crossing laboratory, and simulation station. By these all facilities, PPI Madiun graduates will have better understanding about working in the railroad field. In accordance with the 2030 National Railways Master Plan to develop railways in Indonesia, it is needed thousands of human resources in railway transportation. Therefore, Indonesian Railways Polytechnic is very important to fulfill those needs. The PPI Madiun campus builds on an area of more than 18 hectares. Training activities are fully supported by modern facilities, latest technology infrastructure, and conducive training education environment. To broaden insights and knowledge of the academicians, this campus provides a library containing more than 2,700 books. Modern laboratories and simulators are available completely and well maintained with the latest railroad technology. Those are outdoor catenary system laboratory, CDC laboratory, synthetic display laboratory, level crossing laboratory, and simulation station. By these all facilities, it is expected that all PPI Madiun graduates will have better understanding about working in railroad field. This area also has has complete and adequate supporting learning facilities such as workshop, P3M room, clinic, mosque, and yard. Sports activities are very important for cadets to have firm physical appearance. PP Imadion has a 3,000-meter sport. In accordance with the 2030 National Railways Master Plan to develop railways in Indonesia, it is needed thousands of human resources in railway transportation. Therefore, Indonesian Railways Polytechnic is very important to fulfill those needs. The PP Imadion campus builds on an area of more than 18 hectares. Training activities are fully supported by modern facilities, latest technology infrastructure, and conducive training education environment. To broaden insights and knowledge of the academicians, this campus provides a library containing more than 2,700 books. Simulators are available completely and well maintained with the latest railroad technology. Those are outdoor catenary system laboratory, CDC laboratory, in accordance with the 2030 National Railways Master Plan to develop railways in Indonesia, it is needed thousands of human resources in railway transportation. Therefore, Indonesian Railways Polytechnic is very important to fulfill those needs. The PP Imadion campus builds on an area of more than 18 hectares. Training activities are fully supported by modern facilities, latest technology infrastructure, and conducive training education environment. To broaden insights and knowledge of the academicians, this campus provides a library containing more than 2,700 books. Simulators are available completely and well maintained with the latest railroad technology. Those are outdoor catenary system laboratory, CDC laboratory, synthetic display laboratory, level crossing laboratory, and simulation. In accordance with the 2030 National Railways Master Plan to develop railways in Indonesia, it is needed thousands of human resources in railway transportation. Therefore, Indonesian Railways Polytechnic is very important to fulfill those needs. The PP Imadion Madiun campus builds on an area of more than 18 hectares. Training activities are fully supported by modern facilities, latest technology infrastructure, and conducive training education environment. To broaden insights and knowledge of the academicians, this campus provides a library containing more than 2,700 books. Modern laboratories and simulators are available completely and well maintained with the latest railroad technology. Those are outdoor catenary system laboratory, CDC laboratory, synthetic display laboratory, level crossing laboratory, and simulation station. By these all facilities, it is expected that all PP Imagine graduates will have better understanding about working in railroad field. This area also has complete and adequate supporting learning facilities such as workshop, P3M room, clinic, mosque, and yard. Sports activities are very important for cadets to have firm physical appearance. PP Imagine has a 3,000-meter sports hall with complete facilities. Despite indoor sports hall, this campus provides outdoor sports facilities such as volleyball, futsal, and basketball courts. During the training process, PP Imagine requires the cadets to stay in dormitory. The cadets' dormitory is designed comfortably so that they can focus during the education. This campus concerns on combining modern training facilities and highly competent instructors, which will bring out to the best railroad personnel, ready to work and able to provide community expected services. In accordance with the 2030 National Railways Master Plan to develop railways in Indonesia, it is needed thousands of human resources in railway transportation. Therefore, Indonesian Railways Polytechnic is very important to fulfill those needs. The PP Madiun campus builds on an area of more than 18 hectares. Training activities are fully supported by modern facilities, latest technology infrastructure, and conducive training education environment. To broaden insights and knowledge of the academicians, this campus provides a library containing more than 2,700 books. Modern laboratories and simulators are available completely and well maintained with the latest railroad technology. Those are outdoor catenary system laboratory, CDC laboratory, synthetic display laboratory, level crossing laboratory, and simulation station. By these all facilities, it is expected that all PP Imagine graduates will have better understanding about working in railroad field. This area also has complete and adequate supporting learning facilities such as workshop, P3M room, clinic, mosque, and yard. Sports activities are very important for cadets to have firm physical appearance. PP Imagine has a 3,000-meter sports hall with complete facilities. Despite indoor sports hall, this campus provides outdoor sports facilities such as volleyball, futsal, and basketball courts. During the training process, PP Imagine requires the cadets' dormitory is designed comfortably so that they can focus during their education. This campus concerns on combining modern training facilities and highly competent instructors, which will bring out to the best railroad personnel, ready to work and able to provide community-expected services. In accordance with the 2030 National Railways Master Plan to develop railways in Indonesia, it is needed thousands of human resources in railway transportation. Therefore, Indonesian Railways Polytechnic is very important to fulfill those needs. The PPI Madiun campus builds on an area of more than 18 hectares. Training activities are fully supported by modern facilities, latest technology infrastructure, and conducive training education environment. To broaden insights and knowledge of the academicians, this campus provides a library containing more than 2,700 books. Are available completely and well maintained with the latest railroad technology. Those are outdoor catenary system laboratory, CDC laboratory, synthetic display laboratory, level crossing laboratory, and simulation station. By these all facilities, it is expected that all PPI Madiun graduates will have better understanding about working in railroad field. This area also has complete and adequate supporting learning facilities such as workshop, P3M room, clinic, mosque, and yard. Sports activities are very important for cadets to have firm physical appearance. PPI Madiun has a 3,000-meter sports hall with complete facilities. Despite indoor sports hall, this campus provides outdoor sports facilities such as volleyball, futsal, and basketball courts. During the training process, PPI Madiun requires the cadets to stay in dormitory. The cadets' dormitory is designed comfortably so that they can focus during their education. This campus concerns on combining modern training facilities and highly competent instructors, which will bring out to the best railroad personnel, ready to work and able to provide community-expected services. In accordance with the 2030 National Railways Master Plan to develop railways in Indonesia, it is needed thousands of human resources in railway transportation. Therefore, Indonesian Railways Polytechnic is very important to fulfill those needs. The PPI Madiun campus builds on an area of more than 18 hectares. Training activities are fully supported by modern facilities, latest technology infrastructure, and conducive training education environment. To broaden insights and knowledge of the academicians, this campus provides a library containing more than 2,700 books. Synthetic display laboratory, all facilities, it is expected that all PP Imagine graduates will have better understanding about working in railroad field. This area also has complete and adequate supporting learning facilities such as workshop, P3M room, clinic, mosque, and yard. Sports activities are very important for cadets to have firm physical appearance. PP Imagine has a 3,000-meter sports hall with complete facilities. Despite indoor sports hall, this campus provides outdoor sports facilities such as volleyball, futsal, and basketball courts. During the training process, PP Imagine requires the cadets to stay in dormitory. The cadets' dormitory is designed comfortably so that they can focus during the education. This campus concerns on combining modern training facilities and highly competent instructors, which will bring out to the best railroad personnel, ready to work and able to provide community-expected services. In accordance with the 2030 National Railways Master Plan to develop railways in Indonesia, it is needed thousands of human resources in railway transportation. Therefore, Indonesian Railways Polytechnic is very important to fulfill those needs. The PP Madiun campus builds on an area of more than 18 hectares. Training activities are fully supported by modern facilities, latest technology infrastructure, and conducive training education environment. To broaden insights and knowledge of the academicians, this campus provides a library containing more than 2,700 books. Also has complete and adequate supporting learning facilities such as workshop, P3M room, clinic, mosque, and yard. Sports activities are very important for cadets to have firm physical appearance. PP Imagine has a 3,000-meter sports hall with complete facilities. Despite indoor sports hall, this campus provides outdoor sports facilities such as volleyball, futsal, and basketball courts. During the training process, PP Imagine requires the cadets to stay in dormitory. The cadets' dormitory is designed comfortably so that they can focus during the education. This campus concerns on combining modern training facilities and highly competent instructors, which will bring out to the best railroad personnel, ready to work and able to provide community-expected services.
gentlemen, selamat datang di Auditorium Politeknik Perkeretaapian Indonesia Madiun dalam acara International Conference on Railway and Transportation. Please welcome our hostess, Ferry and Hani.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Salam sejahtera bagi kita semua. Shalom. Om Swastiastu, Namo Buddhaya. Salam kebajikan, salam prestasi.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and of course, online participants in this occasion of October 6th, 2023. Welcome to
International Conference on Railway and Transportation, ICORT 2022. I need a big round of applause from you.
First of all, seputar have been giving us happiness and mercy. And secondly, we must be grateful to God because as we get together for this international conference.
His Excellency Dr. Yuwono Wiarjo MT, Director of Indonesia Railway Polytechnic as an organizing committee chair. His Excellency Dr. Insinyur Joko Sasono MSc, Head of Human Resources Development Agency on Transportation, that represented by Dr. Kapten Antoni Arif Pribadi MSc, Secretary of Human Resources Development. I also greet you, Insinyur Dian Setiawan, MST, MSc, PhD, AMASCE from Texas A&M University, USA. Also, Professor Dr. Im Yong Paschal from Technical University of Braunschweig, Germany, and Professor Xiang Qin from Taijin Railway Technical and Vocational College, TRTVC, People's Republic of China, also all of member in this house.
Ladies and gentlemen, online and offline participants, our event here organized by Madiun, Indonesia, Railway Polytechnic Madiun, and supported by Kontak Transportasi STC Palembang, Institut Teknologi 10 Profesor Surabaya, University Surabaya, Tianjin Railway Technical and Vocational College China, and Imam.
Also Universitas Merdeka Madiun, Universitas Pembangunan Jaya, Texas A&M University USA, Technical University of Braunschweig, Germany.
Dan Taruna dari PPI Madiun.
Kita sapa dulu. Selamat pagi Taruna dan Taruni. Siap. Kita semarakkan pagi kita dulu ya.
Ya.
Dengan yel-yelnya dulu. PPI Madiun ya.
Ya, silakan.
PPI Madiun. Tepuk tangan untuk kita semua.
Yang berbahagia. Ladies and gentlemen, online and offline participants, we have to be thankful because that we living in Indonesia and we have a lot of sources and of course the traditional dances and we are going to perform this.
Now to welcoming you, let us give you a dance performance with the title Satria. Ladies and gentlemen, we are proudly present Tari Satria.
Oke, baik. Boleh sekali lagi tepuk tangan yang meriah untuk penampilan tari satria yang sudah kita saksikan bersama-sama, Ibu Bapak.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, now it's time for National Anthem Indonesia Raya.
Hadirin disilakan untuk bangkit berdiri. Ladies and gentlemen, offline and online participants, now we are going to send a prayer. Hope that this program will be done very well. Mari bersama-sama kita akan menaikkan doa. Semoga dalam perjalanan program kita pagi hari ini berjalan dengan lancar dari awal, pertengahan hingga akhir. Mari berdoa sesuai dengan agama dan kepercayaan masing-masing. Berdoa, silakan. Berdoa selesai.
Honored guests, online and offline participants, it's time to hear the welcoming remarks from Director of Indonesia Railway Polytechnic, Dr. Yuwono Wiarjo MT, as the organizing committee chair.
Kepada yang kami hormati, Dr. Yuwono Wiarjo MT, disilakan untuk menyampaikan sambutan.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. The Honorable Head on Human Resources Development Agency on Transportation, the Honorable Secretary of Human Resources Development Agency on Transportation, the Honorable Head of Human Resources Development Center on Land Transportation, the Honorable Director of Polytechnic and Academy and Human Resources Development Agency on Transportation, the Honorable of all our keynote speakers, Mr. Resdian Shah, Mr. Febri Pandu, Mr. John Pakel, Mr. Dian Setiawan, Mr. Anugrah Ilahi, and Mrs. Xiong Queen, and all participants of the first International Conference on Railway and Transportation. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, let us pray and praise to Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. Because of His blessing and mercy, we can gather without an obstacle here with healthy condition in the first International Conference on Railway and Transportation. Welcome to International Conference on Railway and Transportation 2022. I am Yuwono Wiarjo, the Director of Indonesian Railway Polytechnic. As the chair of the committee, I will not be able to stand here in front of you without the wonderful committee members in the organizing committee who have been with me from the very beginning. We envisage 3 key values as the foundation in which we put our effort and hard work in order to make this conference happen: rigorous, impactful, and prestigious. These essential ideals are achieved through various components of the conference. We have ensured the accuracy of the acceptance abstract through double-blind peer reviews and clear criteria. These have filtered 56 to 46 papers that have been subsequently selected by the outstanding reviewers. The selection process makes the conference the best forum to discuss various topics in railway and transportation field. Participants in the seminar come from 5 countries with various scientific fields consisting of 39 papers from railway, 5 papers from transport, and 3 papers from miscellaneous. All accepted papers at ICORT 2022 will be published at AIP conference. Moreover, we deliver our best stroke, the committee who takes the participant best interest at heart, taking care of the participant throughout the conference, as well as appreciating and recognizing outstanding papers by awarding best papers. This conference is the result of the hard work, support, and dedicated of a number of parties. We thank all the committee members who have made the conference possible. They have worked throughout the year to propose session, review a number of submissions, answer queries, arrange schedule, and respond to last-minute requests. We also thank Texas A&M University, Universitas Gadjah Mada, Institut Teknologi 10 November, Universitas Brawijaya, Universitas 11 Maret, Politeknik Elektronika Negeri Surabaya, Institut Teknologi Aditama Surabaya, Universitas Merdeka Madiun, Atmajaya University, Politeknik Ilmu Pelayaran Makassar, Universitas Tridharma, Politeknik Ujung Pandang, Universitas Negeri Jakarta, Badan Riset Nasional BRIN, and PT Inka for their contribution in ICORT 2022. Last but not least, we thank all the authors and reviewers who have a backbone of this conference. Later, I ask Mr. Antony Arif Priadi as Secretary of Human Resources Development Agency on Transportation to open this international conference on railway and transportation. Thank you for being here with us. We value your presence. Hope you enjoy the conference. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Terima kasih kepada Bapak Dr. Yuwono Wiarjo, MT, Direktur PPI, yang sudah memberikan sambutannya.
Ladies and gentlemen, offline and online participants, now we are going to go for the online streaming, and we are going to listen the remarks from the head of Human Resources Development Agency on Transportation, Mr. Dr. Insinyur Joko Sasono, MSc, will be or is going to be presented by Dr. Captain Antony Arif Priadi, MSc, Secretary of Human Resources Development Agency.
Untuk itu, kepada Dr. Captain Antony Arif Priadi, MSc, kami persilakan.
Thank you. Oke, bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, salam, Om Swastiastu, Namo Buddhaya, salam kebajikan, salam kebangsaan, dan salam prestasi. Honorable Mr. Febri Panduwijaya, Senior Manager of Technology Development PT Industri Kereta Api Indonesia, Honorable Insinyur Restiansah, Vice President ITS Indonesia, Honorable Mr. Anugrah Ilahi, from Boku University, Austria, Honorable Mr. Dian Setiawan from the Texas A&M University, United States of America, Honorable Mr. Jacques Park, Technical University of Brunswick, Germany, Honorable Mr. Yu Zhongwu, Tianjin Railway Technical and Vocational College, the People Republic of China, the official of the Ministry of Transportation, Head of Human Resources Development Center on Land Transportation, the Director, Rector of Polytechnic and University, at last, distinguished participants, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, let us praise God Almighty for all His blessings that we could gather here to attend International Conference on Railway and Transportation 2022, ICORT 2022, in this beautiful day. I am delighted and honored to greet you all and to deliver this speech on behalf of the Ministry of Transportation, the head of the Human Development, Resource and Development. The International Conference on Railway and Transportation with the main theme, Innovative for Smart, Sustainable and Safe Transportation System. Speakers, participants, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to take this opportunity to introduce the agency itself. Human Resource Development Agency on Transportation is an institution under the Ministry of Transportation responsible for developing human resource on land transportation, railway, sea transportation, and civil are a highly competitive environment in all areas. The agency has been working together with the Polytechnic under the agency to develop and improve the quality of human resource on transportation field. One of these polytechnic is the Indonesian Railway Polytechnic in Madiun that organize vocational education as well as functional technical education and training in the field of railway. The campus is a place and center of excellency in producing human resource through education to improve the culture of learning and innovation, which can ignite the growth mindset of the nation's next generation. Therefore, I encourage all the Polytechnic to be more adaptive in transforming the curriculum according to national and global needs, as well as adapting to the characteristic prevalence in Indonesia and international seminar. Speaker, participants, ladies and gentlemen, reflecting the commitment of the agency, I believe that this conference will provide as a forum for government officers, stakeholders, and academic to meet together and share information as well as exchange of knowledge on the improvement of smart, sustainable, and safe transportation system. I also believe that this conference is expected to encourage lecturers and researchers, especially Indonesian lecturers and researchers, to improve their quality and implement the research for further contribution to the transportation communities. This international conference, ICORT, has several topics, namely transport, economy and policy, traffic safety risk evaluation, prevention and control, intelligent transport system and smart mobility, freeway traffic modeling and control, freight and logistics, sustainable transport and fuels, and railway transport. I mentioned, especially for transportation sector, to adapt and create a better solution from the recent challenges and change in this globalization and digitalization era. I am confident that by creating opportunities through discovering innovative approach and contribution from multidisciplinary sectors, academic, researchers, practitioners, and involving industries will giving solution for advance in transportation. Speakers, participants, ladies and gentlemen, in the situation of the coronavirus disease COVID-19 pandemic, we experience the difficulties in developing technology and researchers as the virus widespread globally. However, in order to maintain innovation in transportation, researchers and industry experts need to work in harmony for bringing solutions to achieve sustainable transportation for a better future. Innovative thinking requires more than just amassing ideas, such as resources, skill, technologies, information, tools, approach, and many more. However, the most significant aspect is that innovation needs the participation of people. Therefore, human development is one of the important elements that require for innovation can be maintained and developed for a better transportation. I do hope that through this conference will give us comprehensive understanding in terms of transportation on the interconnected aspect between innovation and industry prospect, as well as the impact to people and society in creating simplicity in life. I also wish that all participants can take advantage of this conference to develop valuable networking in order to pursue new ideas and innovation in transportation. Speaker, participants, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to extend my sincere thanks to Indonesia Railway Polytechnic Madiun, supporting parties and institutions for their participation and contribution in ICORT 2022. I would also like to express my gratitude to organizing committee for the hard work in preparing the event today. May the conference be successful, stimulating, fruitful, and enjoyable. Finally, by saying Bismillahirrahmanirrahim, I hereby officially declare the opening of International Conference on Railway and Transportation 2022. May God Almighty always provide His guidance to all of us. Thank you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Om Santi Santi Om. Salam prestasi.
Ladies and gentlemen, itu tadi baru saja kita simak bersama sambutan dari Kapten Antoni Arif Pribadi MSc, Secretary of Transportation Human Resources Development Agency. Untuk mengabadikan momen berbahagia ini dan momen besar ini, kami undang keynote speaker kami yang hadir langsung di auditorium untuk menuju ke atas panggung dan berfoto bersama. Bapak Febri Pandu Wijaya, PhD, Senior Manager Sentra Bisnis PT Industri Kereta Api Indonesia, dan juga Insinyur Res Diansyah ST MT PhD IPM.
And we would like to invite Dr. Yuwono to join us on the stage. Kepada Bapak Dr. Yuwono disilakan untuk menuju ke stage. Hani, adapun ini sangat momen istimewa di mana kita akan bersama-sama mengabadikan momen International Conference.
Selain itu juga, untuk keynote speaker yang mengikuti ataupun juga nantinya akan memberi penyampaian secara online, kami persilakan persilakan juga untuk bersiap di depan kamera begitu ya, untuk berfoto bersama kami di studio ini. Karena nanti selanjutnya juga kita akan berfoto bersama hadirin dan seluruh partisipan yang hadir ya.
Dan saya mengundang untuk semua hadirin serta taruna dan taruni untuk bangkit berdiri. Hadirin disilakan untuk bangkit berdiri. Kita akan mengabadikan momen kita dengan kita akan berfoto bersama.
Izin Bapak, mohon untuk berada di tengah. Layar kami nantinya akan menampilkan Kapten Anthony beserta keynote speaker lain yang sudah hadir di tengah-tengah kita melalui online. Siap. Izin masker dibuka untuk sejenak, Bapak.
Baik.
Silakan menghadap lurus ke kamera dan beri senyuman termanis terbaik untuk mengabadikan momen besar International Conference on Railway and Transportation. Berikutnya, Bapak Ibu hadirin, kami mohon untuk menghadap tribun sisi timur untuk diabadikan oleh rekan-rekan yang ada di sisi atas. Kami persilakan untuk menghadap tribun sisi timur.
Untuk taruna dan taruni bisa menghadap ke sisi timur.
Bisa menyerongkan badan dan menghadap ke sisi timur. Baik. Kami tangkap momen ini dan kami abadikan momen ini.
Ya. Baik. Mungkin untuk gaya yang kedua kita bisa mengepalkan tangan bersama-sama.
Tanda semangat ya.
Tanda
Baik.
semangat.
Siap, mengepalkan tangan Bapak Ibu. Izin. Tanda semangat kita.
Baik. Kita berikan aplaus yang terbaik untuk momen ini.
Kepada Direktur PPI, kami persilakan menuju ke tempat duduk kembali. Namun untuk keynote speaker kami persilakan menempatkan diri di sofa yang telah disediakan. Yang hadir hari ini, Ferry,
Ya.
yakni Bapak Febri Panduwijaya PhD, Senior Manager Sentra Bisnis PT Industri Kereta Api Indonesia, kemudian Insinyur Resdiansyah STMT PhD IPM, Vice President ITS Indonesia.
Ya. Dan juga pada kesempatan hari ini kita akan bersama-sama bergabung dalam acara discussion. Ladies and gentlemen, online and offline participants, now it's time for us to join us for the discussion. And we are going to introduce our moderator. You know that is very special because that two of us is going to be the moderator. I'm Ferry Andrika.
And I'm Hani Fadila. Let us join with the speakers today.
Okay. Mohon izin kita akan bergabung Bapak. Selamat pagi.
Ladies and gentlemen, first we will have Bapak Febri Panduwijaya PhD from Indonesian Railway Industry atau PT Industri Kereta Api Indonesia. He is also, saya harus baca dulu ini Bapak ya, izin.
Yeah.
Senior Manager Sentra Bisnis PT Industri Kereta Api Indonesia. We will present the theme, Review of Hybrid Technologies for Non-Electrified Railway Line.
Silakan Pak.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. The Honorable Head of Human Resources Development Agency on Transportation, the Honorable Secretary of Human Resources Development Agency on Transportation, the Honorable Head of Human Resources Development Center on Land Transportation, the Honorable Director of Polytechnic and Academy in Human Resources Development Agency on Transportation, and the Honorable Director of Indonesian Railway Polytechnic, and all distinguished speakers and all participants in the first International Conference on Railway and Transportation. I'm Febri from PT Inka. Thank you very much for inviting me to speak today. Today, I would like to present about the review on hybrid technologies for non-electrified railway line. This is an issue for our country especially, of which we have a lot of non-electrified railway line, and how we can cope with this issue in the future. Next. Please, next. So, as all we know that last year, we had a very high level meeting on the COP26 in UK, of which there are some goals to be reached by all the countries. One of them is very crucial for us, how we can meet the goal to get the net zero emission on 2050. And as you might know that the Indonesian government stated that we will have a net zero emission on 2060, a little bit late from the agreement, but we will go to that position. And also, all the countries must keep the global temperature below 1.5 degrees Celsius. So this is a key issue I would like to deliver today, how we can get at, or how we can go to net zero emission through our specialty, which is railway transportation. Next. So this is the roadmap toward the net zero emission. There are so many action plans which is already developed by the International Energy Agency. We can see on the purple line that this is a transportation issue. We have to reduce the usage of CO2 emissions in the railway transport. So how we can reduce the CO2 emission all the time until almost zero into 2050. Next. And these are the key drivers for energy transformation. There are 6 key drivers. First is the reduce the carbon emission by 70%. How to reduce the energy costs, how to increase the job creation, how to have the full energy access, how to improve the energy security, in this case, how to reduce minus 64 demands on the fossil fuels. We can imagine that now we rely on this fossil fuel too much. When our country increased the fossil fuel costs last month, we react, this is a very, very screamy for us. Very scary for us. So this is not a good for us to rely on this fossil fuel in the future. And also to improve the air quality, greater economic gain. The most important here is how can we reduce the carbon emission by 70% in the 2050. Next. This is the railway technology based on the energy supply. We can see that in our country, we also have the electrified line for EMU, KRL Jabodetabek, for LRT Palembang, LRT Jabodebek, and for high-speed train. And also we have a non-electrified line. We have a diesel electric loco, diesel hydraulic loco, DEMU, DMU, and so on. All of this has their advantage and also has their drawbacks. The advantage of electrified line, of course, the energy is supplied along the line as long as there is an electrified line. This system has a great energy efficiency and also environmentally friendly. And the system suitable for high traffic density. On the other hand, the non-electrified line has a characteristic that the energy can be carried by the train, or the train can go anywhere as long as the fuel is enough. But the system has inefficient energy consumption. It has environmental impact about the fuel, emission, and noise. But the system is suitable for low traffic density. So no system is a perfect system. Every system has their advantage and also disadvantage. Next. And we can see in the world that railway line profile is dominated by the non-electrified line. Not only in Indonesia. This year, I tried to calculate it from the internet that we have only 7%, 7.2% of electrified line all over Indonesia. 92.7% is still non-electrified line. So this is a very challenging for us, how we can reduce the carbon emission under this condition. So if we know that the growth of electrification line all over the world is only 1% each year. So in order to cope with the target of COP26 last year, maybe it will be very, very difficult for us because we still have very much non-electrified line. Why non-electrified line is too much in Indonesia? Because the electrification cost is very high. Maybe it is more than $2 million per kilometers. And also not all the line is high traffic density. If it is high traffic density, we can imagine in the DMU Yogyakarta to Solo, it was non-electrified line. But because the traffic is quite good, the occupancy of passenger is increasing all the time, then the government decided to electrify that line. This is a good example how we can understand the non-electrified line disadvantage. So when the traffic is high, then I think we believe that the government or any other people will electrify in that line because it is more energy efficient. Next. So the issues for non-electrified line is most of the propulsion system for non-electrified railway line are still relying on the diesel engine. It has an environmental impact. And also we have an issue in order to electrify on the line is the cost of electrification itself. So in this case, we need a solution for more environmentally friendly at lower cost railway vehicle. Lower cost depend compared to the electrification cost. Of course, if we put another system on the diesel train, it will increase the cost. But if we compare with the impact, the cost is still lower than the electrification. Next. So this is the energy saving methods for the traction system. Maybe we know that in electric railway or in diesel railway, we have so much system inside them. And then we have loss and we have recovered energy through the regenerative braking. So the left side is the example from the Dutch band electric railway that the recovered energy during the regenerative is almost 42% of the total energy. So how we can save the energy is to loss reduction, is to reduce the loss, or second is to increasing the regenerative brake energy. And also there are some measures to cope with this issue. For example, let's designing the less loss type converter and motors, improving the traction control, or improving the regeneration control, or also applying the energy storage. So there are so many research on this field which is very interesting. So in this case, we would like to discuss about how we can apply the energy storage device.
2 minutes
for-
more, sir.
Oh, okay,
Excuse
okay.
me.
Next. So the energy storage is required in order to increase the regenerative brake energy. So the diesel fuel is quite good for the energy density and the power density, but none of the energy storage has all of the features. So for long distance non-electrified railway vehicle, the batteries and fuel cells are most suitable solution thanks to their high specific energy. Next. And then there are some of the derivation of hybrid system. We can see series hybrid system, parallel hybrid system, and the chosen technologies on this case depends on the profile of the intended railway line and the inherent technology in that area. For example, in Indonesia, we have more diesel electric, then we will choose diesel series hybrid system. If we have more diesel hydraulic, then we will choose the parallel hybrid system. Next. So there are some examples all over the world for the diesel hybrid locomotives. First is the shunting loco in Japan, and second is the battery electric freight loco in the USA. In the shunting loco, the downsizing engine is the objective. So the engine can be reduced from 500 kilowatt to only 200 kilowatt, and the other will be supplied by the battery. And in the case of battery electric freight loco, the battery loco is used to pull the load accompanied by 2 diesel loco, forming a diesel hybrid loco in this case. Next. And also in the diesel hybrid multiple unit, we have 2 examples from Japan for diesel electric and diesel hydraulic. We can see how we can increase the energy saving also by 10 to 20% in this case. Next. We also have example for the battery and fuel cell hybrid in the world. And recently, the Coradia Island from Alstom is the nice example to prove that the battery and fuel cell hybrid railway system is exists from 2018. And then currently, the Toyota, Hitachi, and GREs is also developing a hybrid battery and fuel cell system in Japan. And in this case, the battery and fuel cell hybrid from Alstom can reach up to 1,000 kilometers per charging the hydrogen. So for refueling the hydrogen around 15 minutes, the train can go up to 1,000 kilometers without any refueling anymore. And then next. And then what is the challenge for the hybrid system when the battery fail? In the case of shunting loco, the performance will reduce because the engine is smaller than the conventional one. But in the case of DEMU, the performance is still the same, but the system, the hybrid system, act as a conventional diesel system. So no energy efficiency, no increasing in the energy efficiency. At first look, the system for DEMU Kiha ET200 is better, but it has a very much cost than the shunting loco. So we have to consider also this effect if we want to apply that kind of a hybrid system. And then next. So this is the challenge for a hybrid system. And from this challenge, from the battery weight, from the fuel cell life cost, from the fuel cell lifetime, from the cost of battery, from the battery charger infrastructure, the refueling infrastructure, and so on, will give us challenge that there are still more research to be done in this field. So no system is perfect at this moment. Even Coradia Island has its own disadvantage. So there are still more room for us to research in this field. And then the last slide, next please. So what will be in the future railway transport in this case? from the International Energy Agency last year. They have a study that the consumption by fuel in the future will decrease very much. So the railway, of course, has maybe the least energy consumption compared to other transport methods. But even so, we have to reduce the fuel consumption, we have to reduce the CO2 emission, we have to reduce the noise and so on by applying the electricity and hydrogen-based fuel railway system. So in the future, I believe that the low carbon and net zero emission based on the electricity, which is a battery, supercapacitor, and so on, and hydrogen will be the trend of future railway transport. So I invite you personally that we have very much room to research in this field. So please don't hesitate to research in this field, because in Indonesia also there are still very few people who is interested in this field. Thank you very much.
I'll give applause for the first keynote, Mr. Febri Wijaya PhD. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we already announced about the presentations done by Mr. Febri, and it's time for you to have a discussion with us. And if you want to convey your conversation, that, or maybe that you have a question, that you may speak in bahasa or English. Disilakan, kepada Bapak Ibu yang ingin bertanya, mungkin kita bisa berdiskus. Oke, baik, ada satu, baik.
Dan selain yang hadir secara langsung, Ferry, ini penanya dari Zoom juga kita persilakan. Ya.
Silakan.
Silakan, ada satu di sisi selatan. Sampaikan nama,
ya.
Kemudian pertanyaan
bisa
Anda.
Silakan, nama.
Okay, thanks for the chance that had been given to me. My name is FX Prakosa Pamungkas. I'm alumni from Indonesia Railway Polytechnic. There's one of the interesting part in your presentation. My question is, we know that renewable energy has been trending issue nowadays. And my question about what's content inside your presentation is, what's your opinion about hydrogen powered trains, and maybe if there's a planning or reaction from PT Inka or Indonesia Railway manufacturer toward this innovation. Thank you.
Why don't we have questions from, again, Mr. Would you please your name, sir? Name? Namanya? Okay.
FX Prakosa Pamungkas.
Okay, you want to answer it, please.
Okay, thank you for the question. So, in my opinion, as I mentioned before in the presentation, that the hydrogen will be the future railway transport, and we know that not only for the railway vehicle, the road transport, also some hydrogen cars already released several years ago in Japan, in Europe, in US, and so on. So I think this will be the future trend, because there is no emission through this hydrogen. If we see that the hydrogen-based fuel itself can be divided into three: gray hydrogen, blue hydrogen, and green hydrogen. If all the sources of the energy comes from the renewable energy, we can say it is a green hydrogen. But maybe in Indonesia, if we still rely on the coal substation, we rely on the diesel substation and so on, maybe it is still categorized as gray hydrogen. But if, as far as I know, this is how to say, there are some steps to reach the green hydrogen itself, because renewable energy in Indonesia is still how to say, still on progress. So what PT Inka do so far, from last year, we had research with Institut Teknologi 10 November in Surabaya and also Pertamina to develop the hydrogen fuel cell. We had research by the funding from the LPDP, and on the research, we would like to make a catalyst by the ITS, and then the fuel cell itself is bought from outside. Now we will make a prototype for 1 kilowatt, and then in the next year we would like to increase this capacity of the fuel cell up to minimum 10 kilowatt. And in parallel, we have a project with the Polytechnic Negeri Madiun. So they ordered a hybrid vehicle to us. Initially, it was not including the fuel cell, but because we see that the future trend will be the fuel cell hydrogen, then we add the fuel cell hydrogen, a small one, in that car. So in this prototyping train, we will have 4 energy sources. First is the catenary, second is diesel, third is battery, fourth is fuel cell hydrogen. So we would like to combine all of these energy sources, and then we would like to develop what is the most efficient control method in order to reach our purpose. So maybe the train itself will not go as so far, maybe, not long as the Alstom did, not long as the Toyota did, but at least we have started our development toward the net zero emission 2050. Thank you.
Right. Okay, I hope that this answers it will be satisfy you for the asker, and then that I just want to say that it is my apology that we have to stop for the keynote speaker 1 for the question, because that we are going to go to the second keynote speaker, and I would like to give big applause for Bapak Febri Wijaya. Thank you so much. And ladies and gentlemen, and online and offline participants, now we are going to go to the second speaker. Hani, please.
We have Insinyur Restiansya STMT, PhD, IBM, Vice President, ITS Indonesia. He is also Senior Researcher in UPG. Good morning, sir. Time's yours. You have about 20 minutes to share your materials. Yes. And you may move maybe forward.
Yeah, allow me.
Yeah. The stage is yours.
Thank you. Yeah. Still good morning everyone. Thank you, selamat pagi. Karena saya juga dosen, jadi selalu biasa berdiri. Ya. Please allow me to stand and then the sharing. But my sharing actually is not totally about the railway, because that the committee requests me to explain about the smart transportation in our new capital city, Ibu Kota Nusantara. This is very interesting topic. The toward blueprint for implementation of smart mobility, actually in our new capital city. It is not about the railway itself, it's about the land transportation and also the railway as well. I put it railway at the back because I want to change your paradigm. Actually, railway is not only on the ground. But before that, please allow me to introduce you about what is the ITS. ITS, maybe connotation is Institute Technology 10 November. Actually, it's not. ITS actually is Intelligent Transport System Association. It's the NGO actually is providing and advising a government of Indonesia, especially its Minister of Transport. Okay, maybe we go to the next slide. And we are actually a member of ITS Asia Pacific and ITS World. And we are jointly between industry, academia, government, and then we give advice to the government. Next.
Excuse me, sir. Can you get a step forward, backward, because it feedback.
All right. And actually, in our new capital city, if you see, we have the identity of our national, say it's smart, green, and sustainable city. We built from the scratch, from zero, but we still maintain the concept of the forest city in our new capital city. is based on green, and we try to come out with sustainable city. But the smart word over there, we will implement a system in our new capital city. Next. This is the architectures. Ministry of Transportation in 2020 already come out with the ITS national architecture. Previously, we don't have the architectural framework for intelligent transport system in Indonesia. But we already start our intelligent transport since 10 years ago through, I believe you all know, the Advanced Traffic Control System, ATCS. But the ITS is not only ATCS. It's everything in line with the smart transportation is belong to ITS. So next. This is the 12 ITS category in master plan or blueprint, Ministry of Transportation. That we start with the, actually this advanced traffic management system, advanced travel information system, advanced vehicle control and safety system, commercial vehicle operating system, advanced public transportation system, including MRT, LRT, railway, e-payment system, emergency management system, advanced travel demand, until we have electric vehicles, including all the railway electric vehicles and also public transportation. And Ministry of Transportation already come out with the PM 76 ya tahun 2021 tentang Intelligent Transport Management System. Next, maybe I try to speed up. Yeah, this is the urban design in our core city center of the new capital city. If you look at the 5 dimension over there, that we build smart, modern, and international, including the smart city and smart mobility. This is our part actually in smart mobility. Next. This is how we design our land transportation in our new capital city, especially how the motorized and non-motorized, and also that connectivity among of them. Next slide. So this is still, this is the sub WP1A, the core city center in our new capital city. Okay, all the demographics already there, and this is April 2022 that we have a latest map actually. Next, I'll try to speed up. Yeah, that this is the ITS data center. In Indonesia, we don't have actually ITS data center in one data. Is controlling everything, try to synchronize everything. BRT, LRT, MRT, traffic control, all those technology is not in one command centers. So in our new capital city, we will build one data centers. And coming soon, later on, after we build ITS data center, we spread up through all Indonesia and controlling in our new capital city. Next. This is how we design in the short term until 2024, our ITS data center, including the temporary transfer centers and including autonomous minibus in the KIPP. But in the second ring that we have MRT, LRT, autonomous, and in ring number 3, yeah, we also connected vehicles over there. Next. Maybe this one is not identification only that about the traffic and transportation. Just skip this one. Because I have a limited time. But I have a 70 slide, but I cannot deliver everything today. But you can have my slide after this. At least that I can come out with a certain idea how we make our new capital city more smarter. Next. That this master plan that we built for the new capital city start from we try to consolidate all these Ibu Kota Nusantara, come out with the blueprint, and then we try within the time frame 3 years, the investment partner cultivation is there, and we develop the smart mobility in our new capital city. Next. This is the 8 system we have planned to build in our new capital city. Autonomous driving, advanced traffic management, public transportation system, incident management system, electronic payment system, advanced travel, advanced parking, and commercial vehicle operating system. This X system will be harmonized in one integration system. Next. Yeah, skip this one. Yeah, just skip. Please help me to skip. The framework actually is done, but this one we try to skip. You can read after that. Very detailed KPI, key performance index, is we set up already. We can skip all those framework because not so interesting to see the framework, but it's good for the knowledge. Next, just skip all those framework. It's a very detailed framework for our new capital city. The next saja, all those framework. Karena slide-nya cukup banyak ini. Yeah, skip. All right. Yeah. This is the architectures. Yeah, how we build our intelligence system. Then we standardize in Peraturan Menteri Perhubungan Nomor 76 Tahun 2021. All those architectures is already there. Just skip this one. We go to the last later on. Actually, it's more interesting. The most important actually sambil dijalanin nggak apa-apa ya, mungkin operator just next is okay. I explain whatever appear. All those technology actually is we standardize. ITS Indonesia have responsibility to standardize all those technology in Indonesia. Previously, we don't have a standard at all for transportation, especially small transportation. And then we come out with the Ministry of Transportation, Angkutan Jalan. We come up with those all architecture and we standardize PM 76 tahun 2021. Just keep going, and then this is like our architectures in every system, how we build, yeah. And if we have this standard, it's easy actually for this who all the stakeholders related to ITS come out with. In all those grand design is detailing when we have to develop, when we have to integrate, all those actually is already in timeline. Maybe we can skip this one. And then you can read, because I only have a limited time. And this grand design actually stop in here. Even this one is not in railway, but in railway also going to the 5th generation. Currently in land transportation, and also in railway technology, especially in signalization, we are currently in level 3 or actually 3rd generation. We going to the 5th generation. This is the 5th generation is based on AI, artificial intelligence, and digital twin. Currently, all the stakeholder implement traffic control, yeah, still using adaptive. So maybe teman-teman tahu namanya ATCS. ATCS actually in the beginning, in the level 1, actually is area traffic control system, but going to the adaptive traffic control system, and currently at advanced traffic control system. This is digital twin that we can see every single, yeah, as a real time, and we model it in our back end and send back to the controller, and then this automatically machine learning is working. And all the traffic light can be coordinated smartly. And this is using the augmented reality technology. The first technology that will be implemented under this generation 5 in Jakarta, coming soon. Yeah, we develop intelligent traffic control system. Next, this is how we develop our bus information system, and then also our electronic payment system. Instead of using card, e-money, next year, we start implementation what we call as account-based ticketing. So our money is not longer in e-money. Our money actually in server. Actually, you already done that one. You buy something using a CRIS, you buy something using only NFC, but later on, including the MLFF, I'm also the technical advisor for the MLFF in Kementerian PUPR. So you're only using smartphone to enter the toll. The technology actually is embedded. So next, all the level of autonomous, including in railway also, currently actually we in level 3. Then in new capital city, we hope that we can start with the level 3. Next, this is the potency, yeah, autonomous, stop in here. Yeah, this is the ITS data center that try to harmonize and synchronize all those integration in transportation. Next, stop in here. This is about ART, autonomous rail transit. So that I want to change the paradigm actually about railway. Friend in here, you know the railway always on the ground, isn't it? So actually, there are railway that is a virtual. It's no physical rail. That is ART. Autonomous rail rapid transit is autonomous tram that we're using only back please, not yet, back please, that we're using a virtual line as a railway. The railway, physical railway, actually is to guide the train in their pathway. The future, we no longer use the physical railway, but when, we don't know. But the technology using autonomous rail transit, actually trackless tram, is still under the railway. Still under the railway actually, but in Indonesia is confusing because tram is under railway, but the virtual line, we don't have a physical rail. So ini di bawah Dirjen Perkeretaapian atau di bawah land transportation is confusing actually. But it doesn't matter under who. Actually this, we have to think about the risk when we implement this one in our new capital city. Because a closure of the road, delay traffic, track problem, yeah, that we have to anticipate this one because this is a new technology and future technology. Next slide. Autonomous vehicle that we will implement in our new capital city as well. Next. Stop in here. Suspended string like rail. This is interesting. Rail is not longer on the ground. Rail can be virtual and rail can be suspended as well. And this is not cable car ya. Ini bukan cable car. Cable car you just hang and then dia jalan. This is a suspended rail. Actually is using pre-stressed string and covered by rail and working as a rail. It can be suspended like that, can be on the top, can be hanging like that. It's elevated, is very suitable in our new capital city that we try to maintain the elevation in Borneo. And if you see that comprehensive transport solution from the Samarinda, Balikpapan, or the port that can integrate it in one system that we call suspended string rail. Next, eco-friendly, safe, comfortable transportation. Yeah, and this one we can adjust the headway because they're not running fixed on the rail. Yeah, that we can adjust, and this autonomous. Next. And this is how innovative second level transport infrastructures in railway, the future, and cut costs. Example actually that we done feasibility study cable car from Bogor to Puncak. It costs 7 trillion. But with this kind of technology, only 2 trillion. It's cut 1/3 of the cost. Easy maintenance and autonomous. It's important actually the security. Next. This also can be freight transportation as well. And this can be run parallel together with the public transportation. Next, I think it's one or two slide more. Yeah. And the technology is using blockchain technology. It's embedded, yeah, it's connected transport solution, infrastructures, communication, energy in one solution system. Next. You can see it's a rail actually, physical rail, but inside that actually is pre-stressed string inside of that. That's why we call suspended rail. Yeah. Next. This is what coming next, connected between vehicles and public transportation. Just skip this one because I have a limited time. I think it's only 1 or 2 minutes, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, the spectrum. This is important. The last slide. Yeah. Recommendation, the spectrum. I just want to highlight railway. It is not about physical rail only. We need to define the signalization. The signalization in railway engineering become important, and then become 60 to 70% actually development is come to the signalization. It's not only the technology of the railway, technology sarana or prasarana. This is important to harmonize all those frequency for the railway. And then not only the railway, and then also passenger car that we call actually is a V2X. Vehicles to everything, train to everything. And we harmonize all those. And this is all not only dream. So Kominfo already come out with the one, ITS Indonesia already give the advice that we standardize all those spectrum for land transportation and railway engineering. So maybe very short, but hopefully meaningful. Thank you very much. Wabillahi taufiq wal hidayah. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Give big applause for Insinyur Restian Shah, STMT PhD, IBM. And now it's time to the audience, offline or online participants, to give some questions.
Dan juga bagi Bapak Ibu yang ingin bertanya dalam bahasa Indonesia, disilakan. You know that I cannot wait to have a bright future in Indonesia.
Yeah.
You know that it's very amazing, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Mungkin Taruna dan Taruni kami persilakan untuk memberikan pertanyaan kepada narasumber atau keynote speakers kita pagi hari ini.
Silakan kepada Anda.
Sekali lagi kami persilakan, jika Anda menggunakan bahasa Indonesia juga dipersilakan atau juga diperkenankan. Ya, ada di baris depan, Bapak Ibu. Sepanjang pemaparan saya hanya wow. Yeah, that's our dream.
Baik, terima kasih. In bahasa aja Pak ya.
Monggo.
Ya. Perkenalkan Pak Restiansyah. Terima kasih sekali. Tadi paparan ITS itu memang modern banget lah kita lihatnya gitu kan. Yang ingin saya tanyakan, kita ketahui kan transport itu tidak mengenal wilayah administrasi. Nah, yang terjadi di Indonesia kan pengelolaannya dalam tanda petik yang punya kewenangan biasanya yang punya wilayah. Sehingga kadang ketika beberapa wilayah itu akan diatur itu kan susah. Nah, kalau pertanyaan saya dengan ITS ini kan dia mengaturnya pasti bukan berdasarkan wilayah, memang kebutuhan transport gitu loh. Nah, pandangan dari Bapak untuk menerapkan ini sebenarnya dibutuhkan apa? Yang pertama itu. Kemudian yang kedua, masalah hal yang terkait dengan integrasi. Integrasi itu suaranya didengarnya enak, tapi untuk menjalankannya kan dalam kondisi di kita, sepengetahuan saya juga tidak mudah. Sebagai contoh mungkin case ketika mungkin mau interaksi masalah pembayaran di Jakarta antara kereta api KRL dengan dikonekkan dengan Transjakarta pun tidak mudah. Karena itu kan mungkin banyak yang berkepentingan. Nah itu pertanyaan saya yang kedua, solusi atas itu apa sih sebenarnya? Karena ini sering didiskusikan, sering dirapatkan, tapi kadang actionnya tidak serta-merta terlihat karena sulitnya untuk berkoordinasi. Terima kasih.
Padahal seharusnya transportasi adalah menghubungkan ya satu tempat ke tempat yang lain, tapi terbatas wilayah, terbatas integrasinya seperti itu. Kami persilakan untuk memberi jawaban.
Langsung ya. Oke, ini dalam bahasa aja. Oke, makasih Pak Yuwono. Isu klasik yang selalu kita diskusikan ya masalah batasan wilayah transportasi. Kalau sistem transportasi cerdas itu tidak mengenal istilah wilayah. Sehingga memang solusinya adalah bagaimana Kementerian Perhubungan ini yang menjadi backbone-nya, standarisasi itu ada di Kementerian Perhubungan. Kalau sebelumnya, kita tahu bahwasanya setiap kita mau melakukan satu ataupun mengimplementasi satu sistem cerdas, itu simsalabim, jadi nggak ada peraturan, nggak ada regulasi, nggak ada standarisasi, pokoknya jalan kan gitu. Sampai akhirnya, tadi sempat diskusi dengan Mas Nur Hadi juga, tahun 2019 kita belum ada framework, Mas Nur Hadi ya, kita belum ada master plan, kita satu-satunya negara di ASEAN yang tidak punya blueprint pelaksanaan Intelligent Transport System di Indonesia. Tapi kita sudah punya, ATCS kita punya, Fleet Management System Transjakarta, Bus, itu semuanya ITS. Nah, Kemenhub harus memegang peran ini sehingga kemarin kita ITS Indonesia mendorong di tahun 2020 untuk Indonesia mempunyai blueprint. Tadi yang saya tunjukkan. Kemudian keluarlah satu yang namanya Peraturan Menteri. Ini jadi dasar untuk bagaimana ITS ini no boundary dan bisa dilaksanakan hampir di suatu tempat. Nah, kita belum sampai ke tahap no boundary itu, tetapi tujuannya kita adalah seperti di ITS beberapa negara, contoh aja Korea, mereka punya yang namanya CITS. CITS itu adalah Cooperative ITS, di mana Kementerian Perhubungan atau Ministry of Transport memegang seluruh kendali ya berkaitan dengan Intelligent Transport System. Dan implementasinya bisa ke daerah dan lainnya. Nah, jadi memang harus ada standarisasi. Kita mulai dari standarisasi, contohnya ATCS. Dulunya nggak ada standarisasi, bingung kita kalau begitu di kota ini pasang yang dari vendor ini, kemudian ada pembaharuan di 2 tahun berikutnya, upgrade vendornya beda, nggak bisa terintegrasi. Nah, akhirnya di Direktorat Lalu Lintas, kebetulan saya juga tenaga ahli di situ, dan angkutan jalan juga, kita standarisasi dulu. Jadi vendor yang mengikuti standarisasi kita, bukan kita yang mengikuti standarisasi vendor. Nah, itulah cara-cara efektif untuk kita menghilangkan boundary itu, ya. Itu salah satu. Kalau mau diskusi bisa 3 SKS gitu. Tapi yang terakhir ini Mas Yono, interesting, integrasi, ya. Karena urutan integrasi di kita itu ada yang tidak tepat. Kategori integrasi yang pertama adalah integrasi fisik. Itu yang paling penting. ITS nggak bisa jalan kalau secara fisikal dia tidak terintegrasi secara fisik. Kita mau buat integrasi hub seperti di duku atas. Jika seandainya seluruh moda itu secara fisiknya tidak terintegrasi, impossible. Maka fisik yang pertama. Setelah fisik jadi, integrasi yang kedua adalah integrasi fungsi. Mau dia fisikalnya ada, tapi satu ngadap sana fasadnya, satu ke sana, nggak ada hub center, fungsinya nggak tercapai. Walking distance-nya nggak tersampai. Contoh beberapa yang dikeluhkan netizen ya, bagaimana mereka harus berlari-lari di stasiun Manggarai. It's a part of the integrasi fungsi. We miss that one. And then integrasi sistem yang ketiga, itulah ITS. Bagaimana kita mengintegrasikan sistemnya. As long as fisiknya sudah terintegrasi, fungsinya sudah terintegrasi, baru kita main di sistemnya. Tetapi hanya 3 kita fokusnya Mas Yono. Kita lupa satu hal, dan itu adalah harusnya jadi yang paling priority. Integrasi kelembagaan. That is the missing point in our system. Fisiknya udah, fungsinya udah, sistemnya beautiful, plan-nya dream kita seperti tadi, unfortunately tidak ada koordinasi di antara stakeholder, tidak ada integrasi kelembagaan. Nah, ini yang harus kita break semuanya bersama, dan kita harus kembalikan transportation system itu ada di ranah Kementerian Perhubungan. Transportasi physical jalan ada di Kementerian PUPR. Tata ruang ada di ATR. Jangan dicampur-campur, semuanya mau membuat intelligent transport system. ITS itu belong to the Ministry of Transportation, to be honest. But turunan bantuannya ada di Kementerian Kominfo untuk signalization, ada di Kementerian PU, ada di kementerian lain-lain. Tetapi backbone ini harus kita kembalikan ke Kementerian Perhubungan. Itulah pengalaman saya selama 18 tahun di beberapa negara. Nggak ada satupun ITS itu yang tidak berada di bawah Kementerian Perhubungan. Nah, di sini bercampur-campur, begitu masih. Mungkin itu Mas, integrasi ini sangat penting. Teman-teman railway harusnya diberi mata kuliah jangan hanya railway. To be honest, maka tidak akan pernah tahu bagaimana integrasi dengan public transport lainnya. Saran saja, mungkin ada exposure untuk teman-teman di sini juga belajar tentang land transportation. Selain perkereta apian. Itu mungkin.
Terjawab Bapak ya? Baik. Silakan, ada penanya di ujung belakang. Di sisi sebelah selatan ya.
Di belakang. Ya, baik.
Ya, agar dipersiapkan ini diantarkan ya mikrofonnya oleh panitia. Silakan, jangan lupa sebut nama.
Ya.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam.
Mohon izin pakai bahasa Indonesia saja. Begini yang saya tanyakan, saat ini transportasi memang menjadi masalah yang sangat urgent atau masyarakat. Bagi masyarakat Madiun dan sekitarnya, mungkin transportasi bukan suatu hal yang sangat membuat masalah. Tapi mungkin 10 tahun yang mendatang atau 20, mungkin kita akan seramai mungkin Surabaya atau Jakarta. Nah, yang perlu dipertanyakan untuk dari akademisi, mungkin apa yang kita lakukan, memberi sumbangsih apa, sehingga mungkin transportasi di khususnya di Madiun atau di Indonesia itu bisa mungkin teratasi. Ya, sangat terasa itu ketika mungkin Lebaran ya. Lebaran itu Madiun itu macetnya mungkin seperti di Surabaya atau Jakarta ya. Mungkin itu gambaran 10 atau 20 itu yang akan datang. Mungkin apakah yang menjadi saran-saran dari pihak akademisi untuk mungkin seperti yang Bapak Fer sarankan tadi adalah backbone-nya kerjasama antar lembaga. Mungkin itu yang saya tanyakan. Terima kasih. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Harusnya transportasi itu mengurai, bukan justru menambah tumpukan antrian kendaraan. Begitu ya Bapak ya kurang lebihnya. Silakan tanggapannya.
Saya tadi berharap pertanyaan-pertanyaan teknikal ini. Tapi it's okay. Menarik sebenarnya ya. Transportasi ini isu-isu yang menarik ya, yang banyak perlu kita bahas. Jadi Madiun, ini first time saya datang Madiun.
Pertama kali ya.
Kalau Surabaya sudah sering. Kembali ke Indonesia 2017 dan this is my first time di Madiun. Dan saya lihat masuk mengingatkan saya kota Jogja di tahun 90 pada saat saya kuliah di Jogja. Very nice city, apalagi malam, saya nyampainya malam itu warna-warni itu. Tetapi dengan adanya connectivity, saya melihat dari Surabaya hanya 2 jam ke Madiun. Kemudian nanti izin jam 12 saya langsung harus ke Solo karena pesawat jam 3, jam 4. Itu 1 hours. Connectivity yang dibangun oleh Kementerian PUPR melalui tol ini, itu akan merubah konsep dan landscape transportasi yang ada di Madiun ke depannya. Dan ada event-event tertentu tadi yang disampaikan seperti Lebaran. Bahwasanya mungkin ini akan jadi kota transit ataupun macet dan bagaimana. Nah, yang perlu dipikirkan oleh teman-teman, dalam kita mendesain sebuah sistem transportasi, event-event seperti ini memang perlu dimasukkan. Tetapi kita tidak mendesain untuk event-event itu. Jadi kalau seandainya contohnya Lebaran kemarin itu macet luar biasa, pemerintah sudah melakukan banyak pengendalian transportasi, memang dia tidak didesain untuk volume sebesar itu. Tetapi yang perlu kita lakukan adalah kebijakan transportasinya. Kita nggak bisa mencapai solusi dengan melebarkan jalan, membesarkan kota Madiun menjadi sprawl, urban sprawl is not recommended, ya. Tetapi yang kita atur adalah kebijakan. Makanya saya sebagai praktisi di dunia ITS dan juga di akademik sangat happy karena Kementerian Perhubungan sudah meresmikan yang namanya Badan Kebijakan Transportasi, Transport Policy Board. Dan lagi-lagi selama 10 tahun terakhir, kita negara satu-satunya di ASEAN yang tidak punya Transport Policy Board. Sebelumnya, Mas, setiap kebijakan diatur di setiap stakeholder. Direktorat Lalu Lintas pas Lebaran ngatur sendiri kebijakan. Angkutan jalan sendiri, ini sendiri. Nah, dengan adanya Badan Kebijakan Transportasi ini di awal sudah mampu memberikan memang pekerjaan PR besar untuk Badan Kebijakan Transportasi ini luar biasa. Transport Policy Board yang diletak ada satu kepala badan sendiri dan ini bisa memberikan supply energi kepada Kemenhub untuk bisa mengantisipasi hal-hal yang disampaikan tadi. Setiap perencanaan transportasi di setiap kota itu diatur dalam kebijakan yang sangat komprehensif di mana BKT itu akan melihat secara mata elang. Dia tidak hanya kepada khusus ke satu stakeholder dan ini satu solusi yang menarik. Tapi kalau Madiun, saya tidak bisa menjudge Madiun in one night, ya. Tapi saya melihat potensinya cukup besar, ya. Menarik sebenarnya kota Madiun malam tadi, ya. Yang saya lihat. Saya belum lihat siang hari nih, Mas. Kayak gimana? Apakah macet apa enggak? Semoga enggak nih, ya. Tetapi pada event tertentu nantinya pasti akan menjadi kota singgah dan akan terjadi. Dan ini harus benar-benar diperhatikan. Nah, satu yang menarik, dulu kita tidak mempunyai sistem di setiap kota kabupaten mengukur dirinya sendiri sampai di mana tahap implementasi ITS mereka. Nah, sekarang saya kebetulan tim leader di dalam NSPK dan pedoman teknis untuk 12 sistem tadi di bawah angkutan jalan, di angkutan perkotaan. Nanti teman-teman di daerah bisa mengukur diri sendiri. Ada satu aplikasi yang kita bangunkan namanya self measurement of ITS, itu bisa mengukur sampai di mana dan bagaimana perencanaan ke depan teman-teman untuk membuat Madiun menjadi lebih efisien dalam transportasi. Nah, self measurement ini akan sangat berguna, nantinya akan rilis di akhir Oktober di angkutan jalan dan ini akan jadi satu platform awal, jadi subsidi pun tepat sasaran. Enggak asal kasih ke kota ini pasang ATCS berteknologi tinggi tapi trafiknya masih belum memadai, ya. Misalnya di Madiun langsung pasang LRT, MRT, ukurannya dari mana? Nah, itu kita bisa mengukur sendiri nanti, ada self measurement-nya. Simple, siapapun bisa menggunakannya, menggunakan Excel, tetapi parameternya, studinya kita menggunakan hampir 12 kota untuk kita masukkan ke dalam database. Kira-kira itu, Mas, tapi yang paling penting adalah I'm happy because kita sudah ada yang namanya Badan Kebijakan Transportasi. Hopefully, Badan Kebijakan Transportasi ini, Transport Policy Board ini menjadi tulang punggung Kementerian Perhubungan untuk merencanakan ke depannya dan mengevaluasi di awal, kemudian merencanakan ke depan bagaimana contohnya Kota Madiun secara efektif dalam mobility-nya di Kota Madiun. Mungkin itu yang bisa saya share, semoga dapat menjawab, tapi diskusi ini bisa panjang karena memang saya suka diskusi. Mau 3 SK siap kalau 3 SKS. Terima kasih.
Yeah, baik, terima kasih. Maybe is there any question from the online participant?
Well, again, would you like to invite for the online participants if you have a questions, you may join us, please. Is there any?
We'll give you about 5 minutes.
Yes.
Oh, from offline participants again.
We have we consult to the committee. The committee is okay? All right, the last question I think. Come on, please.
Terima kasih. Perkenalkan, nama saya Ina dari PPI Madiun. I just want to give the question in bahasa. Pak Rusdiansyah, ya, mohon maaf. Presentasinya sangat menarik. Saya nggak tahu ke depan bila terjadi blocking electricity, what do I do? Gitu. Terjadi blocking electricity. Kita pernah mengalami pada saat beberapa tahun yang lalu Jakarta terjadi blocking electricity. Every transport, every payment with electricity block.
Okay.
Di IKN sepertinya sudah sangat tergantung pada energi ini. Nah, bagaimana mengatasinya? Sudah kata dari presentasi tadi tidak menjelaskan sedikit pun dari Bapak bagaimana mengatasi seandainya ada sesuatu yang tidak berjalan sesuai dengan rencana. Terima kasih.
Langsung.
Oh ya, terima kasih Ibu. Memang tidak dimasukkan di sini karena ini adalah blueprint untuk implementasi teknologi. Tapi mungkin sedikit koreksi, kita tidak depending on directly electric, tetapi kita depending on battery electric, di mana kita tidak menggunakan seperti KRL yang depends on electric and then shut down, ya, automatically. Tetapi yang perlu diingat, ini highlight yang important. Sebagai contoh, waktu Python mengalami masalah, Jakarta blackout for 3 days, ya, isu yang terbesar karena semua sistem tolling sistem kita masih menggunakan elektrik. Dan itu sempat terjadi chaos di mana terpaksa dilepas saja semuanya, ya kan? Nah, dilepas semuanya sehingga tol tidak bayar pada saat itu. Nah, kita berpikir semua teknologi yang diimplement di IKN itu berbasis baterai untuk public transportation, tetapi electricity is still the main sources, all those technology. Internet without electricity juga nggak running, begitu. Makanya backup plan ya itu sangat important ya karena kita masih belum bisa meninggalkan ketergantungan kita. Nah, di dalam perencanaan IKN itu terdiri daripada teknologi implementasi itu di bagian saya dan ada di bagian-bagian lain yaitu adalah namanya risiko dan mitigasi. Mitigation risk assessment. Itu sudah dilakukan ya, bagaimana jika terjadi blackout dan lain-lainnya. Khususnya kalau saya mengatur hanya di data center. Makanya kita mempunyai ITS data center itu tiernya adalah tier 3. Tier 3 in case ada disaster di IKN, kita masih punya backup data center yang ada di Jakarta, satu wajib, dan satu di Borneo, tetapi bukan di IKN. Tier 3 itu mensyaratkan 2 backup data center. Itu kalau untuk di ITS data center. And I believe actually risk mitigation untuk all those public transportation also di sana. Misalnya autonomous, ya kita akan menggunakan jaringan 5G. Transmit the data vehicle to infrastruktur. Nah, infrastruktur yang dipasang itu memerlukan supply elektrik. Nah, makanya memang kami juga mendorong sebenarnya menggunakan energi-energi lain di luar energi listrik seperti PLN. Itu sudah dipikirkan sebenarnya Bu di IKN, tetapi timnya berbeda, ya, yang mendesain juga berbeda. Tetapi yang kita mencoba meminimalkan penggunaan listrik secara langsung di dalam public transportation. Nah, yang paling penting seperti LRT, MRT itu kan bergantung kepada sinyal. Sinyal itu bergantung kepada elektrik. Nah, ini yang paling penting juga, supply elektrik menjadi priority. Nah, energi yang bisa kita gunakan seperti tenaga surya dan lain-lain perlu memang dipikirkan. Totally agree with that. Tetapi memang dalam paparan ini tidak menyentuh mitigasi resiko, tetapi itu ada. Kira-kira begitu, Ibu.
Check. Okay. From the online participant, is there any question there?
This is the last. This is the last.
The last one ya.
Okay.
Okay, baik.
Ya, silakan.
Because masih ada satu lagi. The last. So sorry because we have another keynote speakers and we are dibatasi waktu begitu.
Limited time.
So yeah, we have to continue to the other keynote speaker. Oke, tapi sebelumnya Bapak Ibu hadirin yang berbahagia akan diserahkan sertifikat kepada keynote speaker yang hadir di kesempatan pagi hingga siang hari ini. Maka itu kami mohon Direktur PPI Dr. Yuwono Wiarjo MT untuk menuju ke atas panggung dan keynote speaker kami untuk bisa berdiri di sisi sebelah timur daripada kursi atau sofa kita. Adalah satu bentuk apresiasi kepada keynote speaker yang sudah berkenan hadir memberikan materi yang luar biasa. Semoga ini juga menggugah ya.
Baik.
Penelitian-penelitian lain seperti tadi yang disampaikan oleh keynote speaker tersebut.
Ladies and gentlemen, online and offline participants, we are going to see the process of the Sebuah certificate will be given to the keynote speaker this morning.
Yang pertama diserahkan sertifikat kepada Insinyur Resdiansyah STFPB
applause.
Beliau juga merupakan senior researcher di Universitas Berlangganan. Selanjutnya dari Dr. Yuwono Wiarjo MD menyerahkan sertifikat kepada Mr. Febri Wijaya, Bapak Febri Pandu Wijaya PhD, Senior Manager Sentra Bisnis Unitir 1 dan 2 PT Industri Kereta Api Indonesia. Terima kasih Pak Direktur.
And again, we are going to say thank you so much for your attention and also that you gave sharing for this discussion. Thank you so much. Well, again, I would like to give the big applause for our keynote speakers, Bapak Febri Wijaya and Bapak Restiansyah. You know that it's very grateful because they actually gathered knowledge about the transport. You know that it will be so amazing for our youth right in the future, for our better Indonesia.
Next, ladies and gentlemen, we have Dr. Science ETH Anugrah Ilahi. He is an assistant professor Boku University, Austria.
We're going to go to live streaming and we are going to have the discussion about modeling in transportation agent-based model.
We greet you, Mr. Anugrah Ilahi. Good morning in Austria.
Good morning in Austria and good afternoon in Indonesia.
Can you hear our voice clearly there? Mr. Anugrah Ilahi?
We already connected.
Halo, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
We greet you, Anugrah Ilahi.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Good morning, Dr. Science ETH Anugrah Ilahi. Can you hear us? Okay. Well, ladies and gentlemen, online and offline participants, we are going to go to presentations. Will be presented by Dr. Science ETH Anugrah Ilahi. Please.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you so much for this opportunity today, and I really appreciate the opportunity that given to me, and I hope participants in ICORT conference can get benefits and experience and give new idea on how we model or how we do research in the future. So let me start my presentation. I will share my screen. So yeah. So actually, I'm talking not really specifically on rail transport, but actually it's include transportation like rail transport, BRT system. So as the previous, I think, speaker, they mentioned that we need to look on how we integrate this different mode transport. So I think it would be useful when how we model the transport system and then consider how we connect a different mode transport system in the future. So let me start. So a little bit about myself. So I was working at German-Indonesian Cooperation, which I was supported Ministry of Transportation, Ministry of National Planning, and several partners in Indonesia. And then I continued my PhD in Switzerland, and I still have some cooperation with Ministry of National Planning, Ministry of Transportation, and also with industrial partner with Airbus. And now I'm working as postdoctoral researcher at University of Natural Resources and Life Science at Boku University in Austria. So now we are talking about transport planning. So in modeling. So I think most of you already know what's modeling in transportation and then what is transportation. So I think most of you know we kind of thinking about movement of people, goods, and services from one location to another location. And the next one is about model. What's model? It's kind of way to mimic real world situation to the computer. So we kind of simulate something that happens in our urban transportations, not only urban transport, but also air transport, and we model how it works in computer and then see the impact on the demand, and then we can also create some policy measurements on this kind of things. And then why do we need this? So we need modeling, we need transport modeling because we want to create something, we want to develop new infrastructure, for example. For example, when we want to develop something in IKN, we need to do something that we can model in the computer. So before we do like planning or before we do constructions, we can simulate the activities of different mode transport system. It includes not only public transport system in urban transport, but also in air transport. In this case, we can talk about PRT system, rail system, we can talk about monorail system, we can talk about MRT system. And there are also emerging transport system that already growing now. It's like micromobility for people in Europe. Actually now we rely on e-scooter, we rely on scooter. We can model this system in our transportation. And also electric vehicles. In the future, I think also in Indonesia, we develop new infrastructure for electric vehicles, and in the future as well, we will talk about autonomous vehicles. It's not only in the car, but also in rail system. We will talk about these emerging transportations. And this is also important when we do model, we can mitigate the impact. For example, during the last 3 years, we have problem with the COVID-19. So this event can be simulated or can be predict what is the impact in the future. So we can do some scenario on how we minimize the impact of COVID-19 in transportation, for example. And then if we talk about emerging transportation system, we really need to do modeling. We need to do modeling. We have to model all the system together. Now, when we look on the era of IT era, information technology era, we kind of have several phases. The first phase is innovation trigger, where we were talking about this concept like flying taxi, autonomous vehicles. We start talking about this. And then the next step, there is peak of inflated expectations. So actually, there is something that we already see, like 5G. And also, there's one pace where we can see this infrastructure, but it's not yet beneficial. For example, like micromobility or on-demand transport, ride hailing. For example, in Indonesia, we can say Gojek. There is system that can help people. Maybe the company is not sustainable yet, but in the future it will be sustainable. They will get profit from this infrastructure. So this kind of new mode transportation need to be modeled. So what I want to present here is something would be different, but I think most of you already know about four-step model, four-step process on how we model transport planning. But in this case, there are growing interest in research, in transportation research, in Europe, in the world. It's about agent-based model. So here, we're not talking about this aggregate model, but we're talking about this aggregate model. We're talking about specific individual attributes, and we model this in the system. So we can see what's the difference between these two mode transportation, these two of transport modeling. So in four-step process, I think it's simple. Everyone knows this. It can be repeated, and there is only sequential executions, and this trip is aggregate and without trip change. And we only model the in the peak hours, maybe in the morning hours or in the evening peak hours. So then we call trip generation, where we define the number of trips from one zone to another zone. And also the second one is about trip distribution, where we distribute from one zone to another zone, which how many trips from one zone to the other zone. And then we talk about mode choice, which mode transport that they use. So, or whether they use car or motorcycle or public transport. So we kind of simulate this. And then the next one is load assignment, where we load everything in the computer. So then in the agent base, it's quite different. It's basically very different. And we're not talking about aggregate model. We talk about disaggregate model. So we need to look on specific attributes of specific persons. So first thing is about socio-demographic attributes. So here there is information like age, gender, income, household member, mode transport that they use is very important. Its information is modeled in agent-based model. The next one is we are not looking only one trip, but we are looking on trip change. A trip change here means we model sequential activities from the morning until the evening, 24 hours, for 24 hours, and for full day activities. So then we can model this kind of activities. For example, if you see in this figure, this man going from home at 7, and then they go to shopping, to go office at 7:30 using car, for example, and then go to his girlfriend houses with car at 5, and then goes for shopping at 6. And this kind of activity we need to collect when we develop an agent-based model. And the next one is like there is step-by-step evaluation of the demand. When we load the demand, there is execution, and we evaluate which alternative that give the highest utility, and then we decide which plan that will be executed for our modeling. And I would like to introduce you or let you know that the examples of this implementation in Jakarta. So actually we use open source data. So we need something that's free in the world, that's accessible by all the people. So we use OpenStreetMap for the network data, and we use GTFS as public transport schedule, for example. So it includes all public transport facilities in the system. So then in Jakarta, because we know that we have 30 million, population is 6 for Greater Jakarta, we have 30 million populations, and we have many different mode transportations, like BRT, buses, rail, microbus, car, motorcycle, and on-demand transport, like Gojek, Uber, something like this. And we kind of model this kind of public transport facilities. And the next one, we create the demand. So the demand we call here synthetic population. Also type of survey, and we do also travel diary survey, which we can see the sequence of activities from morning to the evening. And then in Jakarta, at that time, we do survey for 5,000 people in Jakarta. We ask about the activities from the morning to the evening, and then which mode transport they use and everything. And after this, we can simulate this kind of infrastructure in transport planning. So then this one of the example of the analysis using MatSim here. So actually we model all public transport system. We include public transport, car, motorcycles, and everything in one system. And then I think the one that is important here, we have this aggregate information. We have a rich information on how we model individuals in Greater Jakarta. So from the morning until evening, we model, and for different activities, we also look on these things. And then this is give us benefit, but there is also pros and cons on how we model. So actually, we model the individuals. We look on this aggregate model. So this is very important in agent-based model. And then we look on agent heterogeneities. As I mentioned, we know everything. We know the socio-demographic attributes. And we can also simulate the emerging behavior concept. For example, autonomous vehicles, autonomous train, and then concept of smart hub, concept of on-demand transport. We can do this. But the problem is we need to load data hungry, and then also need the skilled users to use this. And then we also need the infrastructure, computation time, computing infrastructure on how we model. So then, if then all of you interested further to look on how this concept, I suggest you to look on this website, matsim.org and exim.org, on this new mobile modeling tools. And then I think this all my presentation. Thank you so much for this opportunity. I really appreciate the invitation from the committee, and I'm ready to discuss. If you need to ask me, please. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you very much. And I think that it is very important for us to give big applause for our keynote speaker number 3, Dr. Science ETH Anugrah Ilahi from Assistant Professor Boku University, Australia. Well, honey, you know that you have to be thankful to the technology, because the technology already connect us, Australia, Indonesia, by Zoom meeting here.
Yeah, that's correct. And after Mr. Anugrah Ilahi present modeling in transportation agent-based model, we have also the next keynote speaker.
All right.
But
okay.
If you all participants want to ask some questions for the Mr. Anugrah Ilahi and also our next speaker, you may send your email, and the email will be
on the screen. Okay. Would you please, for the commenters, show the email from Mr. Anugrah Ilahi? Oh, it already on the screen Zoom, ya. Okay. Jadi Bapak Ibu yang ingin bertanya untuk pemaparan dari Bapak Anugrah Ilahi, Modeling in Transportation Agent-Based Model, bisa mengajukan pertanyaan melalui email, dan email sudah di-share di grup Zoom meeting ya.
Betul sekali. Baik, kalau begitu langsung saja kami akan berikan.
Tapi mungkin sebelumnya kita mau cop-cop sebentar sama Bapak Anugrah. Halo Bapak Anugrah Ilahi. Halo.
Still there?
Masih ada? Oke. Masih on? Baik. Selamat pagi Bapak Anugrah Ilahi. Selamat pagi.
Kalau begitu langsung
bisa mau tanya langsung juga boleh.
Oke.
Berikan.
Tapi mungkin sebelumnya kita mau coba sama Bapak. Baik, karena ini ada, karena nanti kita akan gabung lagi ya.
Halo, selamat pagi.
Masih ada?
Masih?
Ya, kita punya jarak sepersekian detik begitu ya. So, nampaknya akan terputus nantinya ketika kita melakukan komunikasi.
Baik, kami sekali lagi mengucapkan
selamat pagi Pak.
Mengucapkan terima kasih kepada Bapak Anugrah Ilahi yang sudah share, dan nantinya akan dikirim pertanyaan melalui email.
Dan akan dijawab langsung nanti oleh Bapak Anugrah Ilahi ya. Baik, kalau begitu Ferry dan juga hadirin yang kami hormati, Kita akan lanjut ke keynote speaker keempat kita. Insinyur Dian Setiawan M.St. MSc PhD AM ASCE. Beliau adalah asisten profesor A&M University Texas USA, akan menyampaikan judul Asphaltic Railway Tracks ART System for Heavy Load and High Speed Trains Operation.
All right. Before going to the keynote speaker 4, what about asking for all Taruna-Taruni to have a good spirit?
Okay.
Baik, semangatnya untuk Taruna dan Taruni saya minta ya, coba.
PPI Madiun.
Beri tepuk tangan yang meriah untuk Taruna dan Taruni masih setia dengan kita. Supaya tidak mengantuk ya, biar tetap semangat pastinya. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to be connected to keynote speaker number 4. Insinyur Dian Setiawan, MSc, PhD, AM, ASCE, Assistant Professor AM, University Texas, USA. Kita tergabung dengan Amerika sekarang.
Good night, Mr.
Good evening. Good evening.
Yeah, good evening. Good evening.
All right. Well,
thank you so much.
Good. We would kindly ask you to present your presentation. Time is yours.
I think I would like to ask someone there to run my video recorder. So, yeah. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning. And first of all, I would like to send my sincerely thanks to the organizing committee and to the director of Indonesian Railway Polytechnics for inviting me as one of keynote speaker at the International Conference on Railway and Transportation 2022. It is my great honor to be here. I hope that my contribution to this conference will be beneficial for all participants. Without further ado, the title of my speech today is Asphaltic Rail Track Systems for Heavy Load and High-Speed Train Operations. First, please let me bring to you some slides that show my previous works and also the backgrounds that have significant influences on my research interests. As a railway engineering consultant, I have involved in several projects funded by Indonesia Ministry of Transportation. At the same time, I have published several papers, mostly related to the design and analysis of rail track and road pavement structure. I have also ever been as an instructor for some in-house training program organized by the Ministry of Transportation to share knowledge related to the assessment and forensic technique of track structure. My research interests, including the mechanistic analysis and design of rail track and pavement structures, also about the constitutive relationship of rail track and pavement materials, and some of my research also related to the detailed engineering design of railway and highway infrastructures, including the railway operation systems. And efficient, of course, with higher speed, safe, and environmentally friendly of rail-based mass transportation is mandatory for the railway systems in Java Island, which is dominated by the passenger train operation. The busiest train stations are located in this island, for example, Jatinegara in Jakarta and Madiun Station in East Java. The Argo Jati is one of the series of passenger trains in Indonesia railway systems, also the one with the highest operational speed, around 120 km per hour, which is still significantly lower compared to other countries. For example, the ICE trains in Germany can run up to 280 km per hour. The TGV trains in France can run for 300 km per hour. And here in the United States, the Amtrak, Acela, and EC trains can run for 241 km per hour. In other side, the train operation in Sumatra Island is dominated by the freight transportation, of course, again, an efficient but with larger capacity safety operation for the rail-based freight transportation is mandatory. Some literatures stated that about 45% of the total coal product of Indonesia are available in South Sumatra. Some small companies use the trucking systems to transport the coal product. However, the truck mode could damage the road pavement due to the overload and also could cause several problems, for example, the pollution, traffic congestion, and accidents. Only a big companies, for example, PT Bukit Asam, that able to use the Babaranjang freight trains, which is the heaviest and the longest train operation in Indonesian railway systems. Unfortunately, the maximum axle load is only about 14 to 18 tons, which is considerably lower compared to other countries. For example, here, the Fortescue trains in Australia can run up to 40 to 45 tons of axle load. And another example, Mauritania Freight Railway can operate their freight trains up to 32.5 tons of axle load. At present, the state-of-the-art of Indonesia's conventional track design concerning the ballast, sub-ballast, sub-grid, and also the other layer design is still empirical. The analysis still demands several improvements, especially regarding the accurate predictions of its global behavior, also serviceability limits, conditions, and its life cycle cost should be considered in the design process. That is why the performance, the ability, the maintenance of the Indonesia conventional track, including the risk of the train derailment, still becomes a serious obstacle for Indonesian stakeholder plan to increase the speed of the train, also the axle load of the train operation. Although the design speed of the curved track section is about between 90 to 120 km per hour, but however, in the practice, the train only permitted to run between 40 to 70 km per hour. These pictures here show to us about some black spots in South Sumatra railway networks where the train derailment occur. In 2011, the Ministry of Transportation released the National Railway Master Plan. Of course, the targets are increasing the speed of the train, the axle load of the train operation, and at the same time, try to maximize the safety of the train operation. The development of the concrete slab track has become the priority in some countries in order to provide a stronger track structure for higher train speed and heavier axle load. The case-in-place concrete slab track is the most widely used concrete slab track type in the world. However, it is not easy to ensure the quality of the concrete, and also we need to consider about the curing time of the concrete. Therefore, prefabricated concrete slab tracks is preferable in some countries, such as in Austria, China, Italy, Spain, and Japan. This slide presents the advantages and disadvantages of the conventional track and concrete slab track. We can conclude that the main reason for the limited use of the concrete slab track is the high construction cost associated with its foundation preparation, which is approximately 2.5 times higher than for the conventional track. The National Railway Master Plan includes the construction of Indonesia's first high-speed rail lines that linking the capital city of Jakarta with the country's third largest city, Bandung. The project will allow the train to run up to 350 km per hour, even though the project has been scheduled for the completion in 2019. However, it has been delayed because the stakeholders need to revise the budget and recalculate the installation costs due to the technical issues and also the complexities during the construction. So, therefore, we come up with the idea of asphaltic rail track that has never been studied and applied in Indonesian railway systems. The asphaltic rail track is expected to combine the advantages of the conventional track in terms of lower noise, lower vibration, and lower construction costs, combined with the advantages of the concrete slab track in terms of longer life cycle and higher structural stability. So now I would like to share with you about my previous research. For example, here the objective was to evaluate the performance of the ballast structure with additional scrap rubber and asphalt materials through compressive strength tests. We can conclude that the application of asphalt and scrap rubber could increase the strength and durability of the ballast structures. This slide presents another study which aimed to investigate the mechanical behavior of the clean ballast and full ballast layers with 60 versus 70 penetration grade asphalt. In this research, clean ballast was utilized to represent a new ballast structure, while the full ballast was applied to represent the existing ballast structure in the field. Next, we move to another research. This time, the mechanistic empirical approach was utilized to analyze the conventional track and asphaltic overlayment track performance, considering the linear viscoelastic behavior of asphalt, and also predict the surface life of the asphalt, concrete, and subgrade layer. The parameters evaluated in this research presented in this table. Here we consider another asphalt binder classification system, which is SuperFave, because previously we consider the properties of asphalt binder based on the traditional classification system. So we found that the asphaltic rail track provides better capability in transmitting and reducing the loads and stresses from the top structure to the subgrade layer. For the next study, we try to analyze the critical stress and strains within the conventional track and asphaltic underlayment track structure under the Babaranjang freight transload. Also, we calculate the ratio of surface life versus the construction cost. This study can help the rail track engineers and stakeholders in determining the most suitable rail track design according to the targeted service life and the available budget. Next slide will present some of my current research. I got funding from Fulbright Scholarship for my research here at Texas A&M University within this Zahri Department of Civil and Environmental Engineering. One of my current research here is associated with the asphaltic rail track modeling and simulation using mechanistic approach. The objective is to examine the behavior of Indonesia conventional track and two types of asphaltic rail track designs in terms of the vertical deformation and vertical stress attenuation. In asphaltic overlayment track, the AC layer replaced the ballast layer, while in asphaltic underlayment track, the AC layer replaced the subballast layer. The generalized Maxwell model that consists of several single Maxwell arranged in parallel was used to simulate the behavior of asphalt layer in the asphaltic rail track. Then, using the following formulas, we can prepare the required variable or the Prony series for the simulation inputs. We also need to determine the loading system from the trains. Here, we try to simulate three different cyclic loading conditions based on three different train speeds that represent the low speed, the medium speed, and the high speed train operation. The 2D numerical modeling, the meshing, the constraint, and the loading were conducted using Abacus commercial finite element software. We can conclude that in terms of vertical compressive stress attenuation in the subgrade layer, the asphaltic overlayment track performed better than asphaltic underlayment track. On the other hand, in terms of the formation of asphalt concrete layer, the asphaltic underlayment tracks performs better than asphaltic overlayment track. Next, for future research, we have several program and plans. One of them is about performing the full-scale testing of the asphaltic rail track. We also plan to compare and use both the Pertaminas and Shell's asphalt binder product for the application of asphaltic rail track in Indonesia. Another research focus and interest is about the asphaltic rail track design and application for the new national capital city of Indonesia in Kalimantan Island. And just for an additional information, my paper entitled Mechanistic Modeling and Parametric Analysis of Indonesian Asphaltic Rail Tracks by Varying the Design Variables will be presented at the Transportation Research Board annual meeting in Washington, D.C. Around January 2023. This year, the TRB committee received more than 4,000 papers, while only about half of these papers have been accepted for the presentation. Finally, this is the last slide of my speech and presentation at the International Conference on Railway and Transportation 2022. It is my pleasure if anyone, any group, or any research organization want to collaborate with me, please feel free to contact me for future collaborations. Thank you.
Give big applause for Mr. Insinyur Dian Setiawan, MSc, MSc, PhD, AMASCE.
And we just want to inform you that if you want to give a question, that you may send your email, and email already being texted to the Zoom, right? Okay. Well, welcome back to International Conference on Railway and Transportation 2022. Still with me, Ferry Andrika.
And Hani Fadila.
And
we still also have two speakers, right?
And of course that we are going to share for the participants here that we are going to go to the keynote speakers.
Number 5. It is he is Professor Dr. Ing Jon Pachel from Technical University of Braunschweig, Germany.
And he is going to share for the presentation Digitalization Strategy for German Railway Signaling. Well, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Professor Dr. Ing Jon Pachel.
Good morning, and thank you for the opportunity to give a presentation here on this conference. My name is Jon Pachel. I'm the chair of the Institute of Railway Systems Engineering and Traffic Safety at TU Braunschweig, which is University of Technology in Braunschweig, Germany. I will speak about the digitalization strategy for German railway signaling. At first, a few facts on the German railway network. The total length is about 38,000 route kilometers, and the majority of this, about 33,000 route kilometers, is operated by Deutsche Bahn, DB, which is our national rail operator. About 60% of the DB network is double track or multiple track, and about 50% of the traffic volume runs on just 25% of the network. That means we have a heavily used core network. Let's look on the train control principles. The dominating form is still train control by line-side signals, which is used on 90% of the network. Train control by cap signaling is used on 7% of the network. That is mainly our high-speed network. And we have a remaining 3% where we have no signaling technology at all. And on these lines, train control is affected by voice radio authority. These are lines operated at very low speeds with a very low traffic density. We have a mix of 4 different generations of interlocking systems. We have still a few lines still equipped with old mechanical and electromechanical systems dating back to the early days of the 20th century, but the majority of the network is controlled by relay interlockings and computer-based interlockings. If you look at the number of field elements, that means points and signals controlled by these different generations of interlocking technology, you will see that just about 10% of all field elements is controlled by these very old systems, and 90% of all field elements are controlled by relay interlockings and computer-based interlockings, with computer-based interlockings already slightly dominating. That mix is not very fortunate. It will add a lot of complexity to our system by the need of having many interfaces between different technologies. Also, there are problems with maintainability because many of the older systems are no longer supported by manufacturers. So this is not a very cost-efficient situation we currently have in the German network. Let's look to automatic train protection. On all lines with line-side signals, we have an intermittent inductive ATP system where data transmission is affected by inductive transponders. Here's a typical picture. And on our high-speed lines where we have cap signaling, we have a continuous ATP system. Actually, there are two different systems. On most lines, we have still the traditional German LZB system where data transmission is provided by a trackside cable loop antenna. But on some lines, we have already the ETCS level 2 in operation where data transmission is provided by GSM-R digital radio. ETCS stands for the European Train Control System, which is a core part of our digitalization strategy. Let's have a look, a closer look to the ETCS. ETCS was developed in Europe mainly to improve interoperability across Europe, but it is now also used on a number of countries outside Europe. The ETCS specification is based on 3 different ETCS levels you can use to equip a specific line. ETCS level 1 means that the ETCS is there an intermittent ATP system. Trains are still governed by line-side signals in a conventional way, and data transmission is provided by transponders. In level 2, we have a continuous ATP. Trains are governed by cap signaling, and data transmission is provided by digital radio. So we use today we still use the GSM-R standard. That is a public GSM standard with some specific railway-related features. So the R stands for railway. In the next years, we will replace the GSM-R by a new 5G technology system, which is called FRMCS. That stands for Future Rail Mobile Communication System. Then on the track side, we have a radio block center that is connected to the interlocking system. The interlocking system transmits route setting data to the radio block center. Then the radio block center generates the movement authorities and transmits the movement authorities by radio to the trains. We still have our conventional block sections equipped by axle counters or track circuits, so track clear detection is still conventional. In level 3, the first 4 points are the same as in level 2, but in level 3, all trains are equipped with onboard monitoring of train integrity. And by this, axle counters or track circuits are no longer needed. And this enables trains to follow each other by the moving block or virtual block principle. Moving block means that the train would clear the line behind its rear end continuously. And virtual block means we still have block sections, but only virtually in the software of the control center. These virtual block sections are no longer represented by axle counters or track circuits in the field. And you can easily adjust the length of these block sections to your operational needs. What's the current state in Germany? With the ETCS lines already in operation and under construction, we will have about 2,300 kilometers until 2025 in operation. It's about 7% of the network, so not yet very impressive. And on all these lines, the ETCS is installed as an overlay on existing signaling infrastructure. On lines already equipped with computer-based interlockings, we use ETCS level 2, on lines equipped with older interlockings level 1. But by these projects, we learned an important lesson. There's one key lesson learned, namely ETCS as a digital overlay on existing signaling infrastructure is not an efficient solution. It will add a lot of complexity to the system and also add a lot of additional costs. That's why we decided to no longer follow this path and to develop a new digitalization strategy. The new strategy has 2 objectives. First, to overcome the non-efficient variety of different interlocking systems I mentioned previously on one of the other slides, and to provide a cost-efficient solution for the ETCS implementation. The solution is to have a new generation of computer-based interlockings, which are now known as digital interlockings. Of course, the older computer-based interlockings were also digital, but we call the new one digital interlockings to express that these interlockings are designed for our digitalization strategy. Compared with the older systems, we have a modular, decentralized architecture and also a better integration of ETCS level 2. So these new digital interlockings are more or less designed for ETCS level 2. And the strategy is to replace all the legacy systems by an industrialized rollout of digital interlockings in conjunction with ETCS level 2 without line-side signals. So the objective is to completely get rid of line-side signals and have cap signaling in the entire network. This rollout will be done district by district, and we will always replace all legacy systems in a specific district at once. What's the timeline for this project? We are currently here in the middle between 2020 and 2025. As I said, we will complete the running projects in which ETCS is an overlay to existing signaling systems until 2025, but we will not start new projects of that kind. We have already started a starter package for the new digital technology where digital interlockings and ETCS level 2 without signals is installed on selected corridors and districts. And during the starter package, we may get some experience and do some adjustments to the concept. And by the end of this decade, the nationwide rollout will start. And right now, the goal is to have it completed until 2040, but that's probably a little bit too optimistic. I assume it will rather be 2050 or even later. You see what the planned state after having finished the starter package in 2030. You see here the green lines are the existing ETCS corridors where we still have the older ETCS as an overlay to existing infrastructure. And the blue lines are the new corridors already equipped with the new digital technology. And the light areas here are control districts in which all the legacy systems will have been completely replaced by digital interlockings. You see here, these blue lines are planned in a way to close some gaps here between the green lines. So by the starter package, we'll finally get here a second corridor in the north-south direction through Germany. We already have one corridor in the western part of the country, and by these projects, we get a second corridor for international trains passing through Germany in north-south direction. All this is still ETCS level 2. So the question is, what about ETCS level 3? For level 3, all trains must be equipped with onboard train integrity monitoring. For passenger trains, that is not really a problem, but the question is how to achieve this for freight trains. And the solution is that all freight wagons will be equipped with new automatic couplers that will provide a data line through the train consist. These couplers are called digital automatic couplers because they are also an add-on to our digitalization strategy. So all freight wagons will get these couplers and also an electric line through the freight wagon. And then when freight wagons are assembled into a train consist, automatically a data line is established through the train consist that can be used for train integrity monitoring. Of course, a complete upgrade of the European freight fleet will take many years, probably several decades. We have about 500,000 freight wagons in the European standard gauge network, and that will probably take several decades to retrofit all these wagons. That means for a longer period of time, we will have a mixed traffic of freight trains equipped and not equipped with train integrity monitoring. And we need a solution to handle this mix. And the solution is called ETCS and level 3. So we combine these two levels. It means we have still block sections controlled by the level 2 principle, and these block sections are overlaid by level 3 technology. So it means non-equipped trains would clear the line according to the conventional block sections provided by the level 2, while equipped trains clear the line by the moving block or virtual block principle. And that means with having more and more trains equipped with onboard monitoring, the capacity of the line will automatically increase without changing anything in the infrastructure. Here, my last slide, two pictures of the new digital automatic couplers. These pictures are from a test installation on German freight wagons. We have now a few test trains running through Europe, and to do some final adjustments to the concept, and maybe in 1 or 2 years we will start to equip step by step the entire freight fleet in all countries of the European standard gauge network. Yeah, this is the last slide of my presentation, and then I thank you for listening.
Of China. He will present connectivity from infrastructure to people.
Right, ladies and gentlemen, that we already moved from one country to another. We already go from Austria, and then we go to USA, and then Germany, and the last we go to China. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Professor Shekun from Tianjin Railway Technical and Vocational College. Please welcome.
各位领导、各位专家、士们、先生们，大家好！我是天津铁道职业技术学院铁道桥梁隧道工程技术专业带头人向群。首先，非常感谢主办方能够提供这个平台，让我和大家分享新时代中国铁路的发展，以及我们学院通过承接“一带一路”重点项目，服务设施联通和民心相通的情况。 我交流的题目是：从硬联通到新联通，中国铁路为“一带一路”建设当好火车头。一、高标准惠民生，感受中国铁路发展强劲脉搏。纵观中国铁路发展历程，从绿皮车到空调车，从和谐号到复兴号，随着中国自主创新技术日益成熟。 中国制造向中国制造不断升级，5G 信号、无线充电、无障碍设施等，飞驰而过的复兴号智能动车组，让人们感受到黑科技带来的福利。而跨越100年历史的京张高铁更聪明，能够从车站自动发车，在区间自动运行，到站后自动停车。 标志着中国铁路从高速时代迈入智能时代，越织越密的交通网，铺就的不仅是经济发展的锦绣路，更是人民群众的幸福路。近10年间，中国铁路跑出中国速度，总体技术水平迈入世界先进行列，高速、高原、高寒重载铁路技术。 在世界处于领先地位，形成了具有独立自主知识产权的高铁建设和设备制造技术体系。截止2021年底，中国铁路营业里程从1949年新中国成立初期的2.1万公里， 增长到超过15万公里，高铁营业里程从零起步，增长到超过4万公里，4纵4横高铁网已经全面建成，8纵8横高铁网正在加密成型。与此同时，中国铁路走出去的步伐不断加快，逐渐遍及亚洲、欧洲、北美洲和非洲，成为“一带一路”建设和国际产能合作的一张亮丽名片。中国列车穿山过海，连通世界，将中国共商、共建、共享的发展理念和互联互通的发展模式带向全球，为全球发展事业贡献了中国力量。遥望非洲大地，自中非论坛成立以来，中国企业对非洲新增和升级铁路超过1万公里。以肯尼亚为例，由中企修建的蒙内铁路，对肯尼亚的国民生产总值贡献率超过2%，为肯尼亚创造近5万个就业岗位。眼光放回东南亚，中老铁路开通9个月来，累计发送旅客671万人次，货物717万吨，其中跨境货物128万吨，国际货运总值突破100亿元。从坦赞铁路、蒙内铁路、中老铁路，再到匈塞铁路雅万高铁，政治互信、经济融合、文化包容的利益共同体、命运共同体和责任共同体，因跨境铁路而更加牢固。中国与沿线国家共同发展繁荣的脚步也更加紧密。2. 建品牌树名牌，聚焦铁道学院涉外培训成果。天津铁道技术学院始建于1951年，是一所行业特色鲜明、国际交流广泛的公办高等职业院校，面向国内外铁路、城市轨道行业培养高素质技术技能人才，开设30余个专业，形成了覆盖高铁、普铁、城轨所有岗位的专业群。建校70年来，已培养10万多名毕业生，其中涌现了中国工程院院士王梦素、中国高铁司机第一人李东晓等一大批优秀校友。我院始终坚持涉外学历教育和培训并举，引进来与走出去相结合的定位。自2001年起，按照中国铁路修到哪，铁路技术技能人才培养就跟到哪的建设思路，先后为坦赞铁路、亚吉铁路等项目培养本土化技术技能人才1100余名。在引进来方面，2001年以来，受中国土木委托，学院先后承接了5期商务部对外援助项目坦赞铁路技术人员的培训任务，为坦桑尼亚、赞比亚培训学员188名。2014年，学院为埃塞俄比亚铁路公司培训学员254名。2015年，学院为吉布提铁路公司培训学员94名。2019年，学院为沙特麦加轻轨培训司机44名。目前，学院正在推进印尼雅万高铁运维理论培训任务。在走出去方面，从80年代起，学院先后选派多名教师赴坦桑尼亚、赞比亚等国任教或提供技术支持。2015年，学院选派4名教师赴摩洛哥，援建摩洛哥建筑与公共工程职业技术学院，并得到摩洛哥相关领导的高度赞扬。2017年，学院选派1名教师赴埃塞俄比亚，协助亚吉铁路运营管理。2019年，学院承接了由商务部主办的埃塞俄比亚铁路运营技术海外培训项目，选派4名教师 赴埃塞俄比亚培训学员95名。2021年，学院完成亚吉铁路当地员工线上教育培训服务项目，完成了线路工、信号工等8个工种全英文录播课程500余课时。2017年，学院确立了建国际品牌、筑国内名牌的办学思路，以鲁班工坊为切入点，全面推进国际化办学进程，为服务东泰铁路建设运营。2018年7月，学院建成了我国在境外的第一个高铁类技术技能人才培养中心——泰国鲁班工坊铁院中心。2019年7月，学院中心入选了中国东盟高职院校特色合作项目，为服务亚吉铁路和吉布提港口经济发展。2019年3月，学院建成了非洲第一家鲁班工坊——吉布提鲁班工坊。吉布提总统盖莱、总理卡米勒等100余人出席了仪式。工坊填补了吉布提国民教育的空白，为非洲青年技术技能人才的培养提供了可借鉴、可复制的成功范例，为服务尼日利亚2014至2043基础设施总体规划。2020年11月，学院在非洲第1大经济体尼日利亚建成鲁班工坊，开创了鲁班工坊1体2翼建设定位的新局面。2022年8月，我院建设的3个鲁班工坊全部入选了全国首批鲁班工坊运营项目。通过开展涉外培训和建设鲁班工坊，为推动“一带一路”走实走深、行稳致远，贡献了我们铁路人的智慧和力量。3、强沟通，促共赢，构建亚万高铁人才培训体系。2022年7月26日，中国国家主席习近平在北京同印度尼西亚总统佐科举行会谈时表示，双方要推动高质量共建“一带一路”合作不断走向深入，结出更多硕果，力争如期高质量建成亚万高铁。印度尼西亚总统佐科表示，亚万高铁是印尼快速发展的象征，印尼愿同中方共同努力，确保亚万高铁按时竣工运行，使其成为两国友谊的又一丰碑。目前，亚万高铁已进入建设的最后1公里，建成后将连接印尼首都雅加达和第4大城市万隆，将两地旅行时间由现在的3个小时缩短至40分钟。亚万高铁带去的不仅是印尼互联互通的加速度，更是深化中印尼两国经贸合作和人文交流的新动力。我院非常有幸，正在与相关方共同推进印尼亚万高铁运维的理论培训项目，在承接该任务的过程中，按照听得懂、用得上、学得会、干得好的培训目标，探索形成了分级、分部、分类的培训路径，构建了3服3化3对接的人才培养体系。所谓3服，是指人才培养服务印度尼西亚经济社会发展需求，服务亚万高铁一线岗位的技术技能人才需求，服务受训学员自身综合素质提高需求。例如，在编写铁路桥髓维修培训讲义的过程中，我院教师第一时间与相关方对接，深入了解亚万高铁工程背景、工程水文地质条件、桥髓结构、施工方案、工程特点等情况，并针对铁路既有线检查、养护、维修作业的特殊性，融入了安全管理知识培训的内容。3化是指培训设计的系统化、培训课程的结构化 培训内容的颗粒化、系统化是指培训设计要以3幅为导向，结合轨道交通类专业特点、课程信息化特征和岗位工种的培训目标，统筹校企共建共享机制的构建。结构化指培训内容满足亚万高铁对应岗位的基础素质能力、基础职业能力、职业核心能力和职业拓展能力等要求。颗粒化是指根据生产过程和企业需求，将知识点和技能点划分为相对独立、可移植、可拓展的基本培训单元。3对接指培训标准与企业用人标准的对接，教学过程与生产过程的对接，培训内容与职业岗位内容的对接。例如，在建设培训资源的过程中，我院铁路桥髓团队基于已建成的桥髓养护与维修课程国家资源库，充分挖掘微课、视频等上千条培训素材，利用学院钢筋工、桥髓检测等桥髓实训室及轨道实训基地，探索形成了课堂讲授加实务实操加虚拟仿真的培训资源呈现形式，为提高培训质量和培训效果奠定了良好的基础。目前，我院完成了包括铁路线路维修、铁路桥髓维修、列控车载信号设备维修等在内共18个岗位工种中英文讲义的编写工作，预计开展2918个课时的培训任务。美美与共，共行致远。在未来的工作中，我院将继续在国内外行业企业和兄弟院校的鼎力相助下，聚合优质资源，加强互学互鉴，为亚万高铁等“一带一路”标志项目培养更多符合合作国经济发展需要的技术技能人才，将服务设施联通、民心联通和构建更加紧密的人类命运共同体，作为我们新时代铁路人的责任和担当。谢谢大家。
谢谢你. Mana tepuk tangan yang paling meriah dari Bapak Ibu sekalian dan juga all the cadets. Thank you. Baru saja kita simak dari Profesor Xiang Kun dari Tianjin Railway Technical and Vocational College, TRTVC, People's Republic of China.
Well, again, so ladies and gentlemen, and online and offline participants, we already joined for keynote speakers, right? We already have the information. It will be useful for us. Baik, Hani, ini kita akan masuk dalam acara selanjutnya.
Yeah, because it's the end of the presentation in this auditorium. It will continue in the parallel session on 1 p.m. So to all the cadets, you may move to the east side of this auditorium. And for all the participants here,
yeah, we would like to ask for all the audience here to join for have lunch together. Baik Bapak Ibu hadirin berbahagia, disilakan untuk bisa menikmati santap siang yang sudah tersaji. Dan untuk taruna dan taruni disilakan untuk menuju ke sisi timur. Terima kasih untuk Anda semua yang sudah ada di sini.
And it's also become the
last show that we have, and hope that what we already got today, that it will make us understand actually that there is a good planning for the bright Indonesia. Thank you so much for all the committee who already asked us to guide this program. Thank you for the committee, the International Conference on Railroad Transportation 2022. I'm Ferry Andrika.
And I'm Hani Fadila.
Hope that you can meet again for next time. See you. Goodbye.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.